Last time on Square Roots, we fade out on Stroud. Morrigan takes a long look in the mirror, and we trip the light fantastic over some puzzle tiles. Later, you can lead an Inquisitor to water, but you can't make her drink. Or can you?
Everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hello, Jim. Hello, listeners. Hello, unannounced hosts.
John Deeproads Brandon.
Gazzies.
And Vanessa. Or wait, hold on.
Sorry.
We're in our 400s era. Vanessa is now Rachel Slurs.
I'm Rachel Slurs, and these are my boys, the salty.
John, I believe the listeners demanded that you employ your catchphrase from now on.
Oh, sorry. Beep boop. Give me the sloop. Bleep bloop. Was it bleep bloop? Yeah.
It was
Bleep
beep
bloop.
boop. Was it?
Oh,
It was beep boop.
Okay. Beep boop.
It's your
give me the sloop.
catchphrase.
Right.
Well, this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs, one chunker at a time. And this is our penultimate Dragon Age Inquisition episode.
Penultimate. We finished the game.
There's one more DLC.
The true ending.
There's one cheeky little DLC left to play.
Yeah. It's like a wee baby DLC. Well, before we get into that, you guys have any hot gaming news you'd like to share with the class?
I'm sorry, did you talk about what we do on the show, Jim? For God's sake, this is episode 401. Have you not gotten this down yet?
I did it.
I don't believe you.
I've got some hot gaming news. There's a big announcement from Microsoft, and for more on that, we'll go to Johnny.
Hello. I'm here at the Microsoft conference. Gazzies everywhere. It has been just a pandemic of Gazzies. And also, there's a few announcements, like 4 games are going to go cross-platform. Microsoft is going to put them on the PS5. It's going to put them on the Switch. They're going to put them on what was the Google one called?
Stadia.
And the Phantom Lapboard.
Put them on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
They're going to put them on the Verizon Twisted 2, whatever that thing was called.
The Nokia N-Gage.
Yeah, that's it. The Nokia N-Gage.
Mm-hmm.
The Wonder
everyone's
Swan.
Going to release
freaking
it
out
on
about
DOS.
that. Also, next year, there's going to be a new, more powerful Xbox.
Oh, did they really announce that?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Well, they didn't say.
We always
All they
knew this
said
was going
was
to be
like,
the case when it was the series.
It's not this year. They said it's not this year.
All they really said was, we're still gonna make consoles. Like, this is not our last console, is basically what they said. But they said they wouldn't have any news for like the next year at least, probably.
Well, they're working on the next-gen Xbox, and it'll be the largest technical leap you have ever seen in a hardware generation.
Yeah, technical leap. It's gonna service ads during games.
Nice.
Make us be online all the time.
You're going to adopt that YouTube version of ads where it's like, well, if you don't hit skip, we will show you another ad.
What? That's worse.
It's probably going to have some horrible integrated AI, and it will be like, meet your AI friend, Softy.
What's
like
Microsoft
that.
AI called? David Duke? Isn't that the really racist one? Was the Microsoft AI?
I'm sorry, is that a Rachel Slurs joke?
Yeah,
that is a
get her
Rachel
outta here.
Slurs
Don't
joke.
step into my territory. If anyone's going to talk about Uncle David, it's going to be me.
I do have some Johnny news.
You're
though.
related to David Duke?
Do you want to hear my hot gaming news?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was looking on the Switch store, and suddenly came across a game that just got released, or a double game thing that just got released. Cosmic Fantasy 1 and 2 collection on Switch. Now, you might be like, Johnny, we've never even heard of this stupid anime nerd game. And I'd be like, yes, but when Johnny was a teenager, there's ads for this in video game magazines. Cosmic Fantasy 2 on the TurboGrafx CD. I didn't have a TurboGrafx CD, but it had like full screen anime cutscenes.
Wow.
And
so
it was
like
an RPG.
Lunar?
It's like a Lunar. And I feel that, the people that made these games, it's like a sci-fi RPG, went on to do the Tales series after.
Oh.
So it's like a super early, like, warning, super early JRPG. So very grindy. But yeah, they re-released Cosmic Fantasy 1 and 2. Cosmic Fantasy 1, it's its first English translation, so that's really cool. And it's a pack of both of them. And it's a little expensive. I think it was like $40 or $50 US. So I'll put it on my wish list, and we'll pick it up when it goes on sale, like the Grandia collection. And I'm excited. I don't know. Those are games I've always wanted to play. It's not the Working Designs translation, the ones that translated like Lunar and stuff. So it's not going to have the English voice acting and the pop culture, early 90s pop culture jokes that we all love. But
Thank God.
Looks kind of Gundam-y.
Yeah, it looks cool. It looks neat.
I mean, I like the art style of like very like early 80s anime. Like you could confuse this for like a Ranma 1/2 or something.
The main character of the second game is named Van.
Ooh.
Okay, well now we have to play them.
Yeah.
Sounds like a real idiot.
Sounds cool.
Okay, Yoshitaka Murayama died. He died.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah, he made Suikoden, and he was about to, like, his new game, Eiyuden Chronicles, about to come out. And that's real sad.
Mm-hmm. I think they said that he finished his outline for the story and everything.
Yeah. He was only 55.
He's much younger than I assumed him to be.
Poor guy. But I figured since we've played the Suikodens and all that, we should talk about that. So yeah. I hope we play a Suikoden. Not this year, because this year's the year of, is this even a JRPG? RPG, and I've been coming up with some wild ideas.
When you said Ace Combat 7,
I am.
Wowie.
That game has an amazing story. Like, genuinely, it does.
It has an insane story.
Yes. the JPEG dog. Anyway, does anyone else have anything they want to bring up for HDN?
I do.
Okay.
Sony announced that it will have no first-party game releases until 2025 or through 2025, which is super bad for their business, and they had to lower their console sales outlook.
That's right. I mean, it takes so long to make a game now. It takes so long, and they have to do
Doesn't
like
have to.
$500 million.
They choose to do this. Like, you could definitely like assign a few teams to doing smaller games, but
What,
they don't.
are you going to make Parappa the Rapper 3, which would be super amazing and everyone would love it? No! You have to make a game about miserable people watching their friends die.
Johnny's right. That's what games have to be about.
Yeah. And you're a dad type figure to a girl.
Mm-hmm. That's the only
Or a
way
boy.
men can have emotions.
Or
a boy. You can have a son. Krattos has a son.
Ugh, Kronos.
Krattos, yes. Everyone's favorite character, Krattos.
What's his name? Kratos? I don't know.
Kratos.
Okay. Oops.
Kratos. That's amazing.
Sorry, I didn't say
Eliza
verba
P.
time.
character. Now it's burger time.
I had some hot gaming news.
Oh.
Did y'all hear about the hottest new release of the spring? The winter?
No.
Is it winter? It's basically spring here. Is it winter for you guys still?
It's still
'Cause I got
winter.
pollen
Yes.
dropping. And it's in the 80s.
It's like 30 degrees here.
Yeah,
It's
like
80
30
degrees.
here.
It's 80 degrees and my car is covered in pollen. And also all the leaves are dropping off the trees. Florida is stupid. Anyway, did y'all hear about the hottest new release of the winter?
What is it?
Tomb Raider 1 through 3
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that looks fun.
Remakes.
Kind of a remake, I think.
I'm really worried that with today's kind of culture and censorship, that they're not going to have the secret code that makes Lara Croft nude in it anymore.
Well, Lara, there was never a Lara nude code.
Laura.
Johnny.
John.
That's not
Why
what my
you
friend
gotta
at school
crush
told me,
my
John.
dreams? Do you know how many hours I spent pressing random buttons, hoping to stumble across the Lara nude code?
Well, that does say a lot about you.
It does. Mostly
Some
it's because I don't know how to
things,
Google.
really.
Yeah. I don't know how to Google, and I'm very interested in seeing triangles that are shaded in a human flesh tone instead of white.
Kim Justice has a really good video on the making of Tomb Raider, and she basically shows how the initial creator, I can't remember his name, is Toby something, didn't want her to be sexualized, but then basically all the ads for the games after that were like, look at her, she's so hot and she wants to have sex with you, gamers. And then he left the company.
Well, nothing about her character ever implied that she wanted to have sex with anyone, as far as I can remember. She just wanted to raid some tombs.
I mean, unless you had the code to make her super horny.
Yeah,
That's true.
Or what about the noises she makes when she's climbing?
Those are human woman assertion noises.
I didn't realize the level designer for the first game is also the voice of Lara Croft.
Oh, I didn't know that either. That's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
You ever get that butler guy and stick him in the walk-in freezer?
Yeah. That was in the
Why would you
second
do that?
one, right?
Everyone did that, Jim. Yeah, I think it was in the second one.
I didn't like the second one that much because there's too much. Like the first game, there's like 2 human opponents basically throughout the entire game, and the second one you kill like 300 people, and it's like I just want to explore and maybe kill some endangered species.
I didn't like the first one because I was playing it and it seemed like a normal game, and then all of a sudden there's a freaking T-Rex after me and it was too scary.
That was fun.
I never owned any of the Tomb Raider games. I only played them on the Pizza Hut demos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jim wasn't allowed to own them. They were too sexy.
Yeah, it's
Too
true.
hot.
What
They would have made me
Jesus-
too horny.
What would Jesus say if he saw
It's
you doing
true.
that? I did. I had the first Tomb Raider game. I loved it. I just because I didn't have an N64 at the time, so I did. This is my first real like walking around a 3D world game, and it was so cool. It's like, look at this. Look, I remember showing my. I mean, I was a teenager or a young adult showing my mom this. So I was a real nerd. I was like, Mom, look at this. It's like you're in this temple and you can climb. And she's like, that's nice, dear.
I remember I watched a video the other day on YouTube that was about the different approaches that certain video games took in like letting your character navigate a 3D world, and like the first games that did it. It was really interesting. It was like Tomb Raider and Resident Evil and one other one I can't remember, but it was neat.
Was it Gex Super Mario?
Oh, it was Mario 64. That was the
Gex
other
is
one.
awesome.
Actually, I think that video was about nightmare. It was about nightmare creatures. Remember nightmare creatures?
Yeah.
No.
That was another
That game.
game.
Yeah, that was a good game. I like that game.
Hey, listen, that early IDOS, did they also published the Soul Reaver game, right? Or am I wrong? That's Crystal Dynamics, maybe?
That was Crystal Dynamics, but I feel like IDOS had something to do with it too.
I
Might
feel
be
like you're
wrong.
right.
They
Yeah.
had a great run there, and now they're owned by
Maybe-
the Embracer
maybe they
Group,
did
and none of
Soul
those
Reaver.
games will ever come out again. Anyway, that Tomb Raider remake looks. The reviews are middling, where it's like it looks a lot better, and they definitely like changed the controls, but maybe not the camera controls, so it still kind of controls like shit. But for me, at least, it's definitely going to be like a discount purchase. Like when I see that for $20, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
Because I will get the
nostalgia
kick of replaying that first Tomb Raider. I love like fighting them dying. I liked the new Tomb Raiders. I didn't play all of them, but I played the first one and some of the second one, and I liked them well enough. I don't have any complaints really, but like I do miss that old style of game design. Even though once I start playing it, I'll be like, too many puzzles. I hate this.
The newer ones get really bland really fast.
The first one had too many QuickTime events, and frankly, was too fucking bloody. Remember that part in the first one where you're like wading
Super
through
violent,
waist-deep pools of blood? I was like,
Yeah.
this sucks.
Well, that's right at the beginning, too.
This
I
isn't what
remember
wanted
that you
from
have to like
Laura.
watch her break her neck over and over again.
Oh, the death animations were insane.
Yeah. I mean,
I
listen,
forgot about that.
overall, they're fun games. Like, I played it. I liked it overall, but, like, I had some problems with it. And then when I went to go play the second one, I played, like, 5 or 10 hours and was just kind of like, I don't know. I don't need this.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad, and I think like people like them. I'm not trying to talk shit about it. Just kind of not for me, I guess, which is a bummer because I like that series, and not because I want to see big-breasted Laura bouncing around. Like that's not what I'm here for. But
it doesn't hurt, am I right?
the originals had
Yeah,
more
they called that a bonus.
the originals had more of an Indiana Jones feel that I felt like the newer ones didn't. That really lacked. The newer ones felt like Uncharted with Lara Croft.
That's why I liked him.
Yeah, you love them Uncharted's. Anyway, any other hot gaming news? Uncharted, I said, because I'm dumb.
I'm out of gaming news.
Oh, well, here's a piece of hot gaming news. Diablo 4 is coming to Game Pass next month. Isn't that exciking, everyone?
Did
Aren't
you
you really
just buy it?
excited about
Exciting.
finally
Yeah.
getting to play
Did
that?
you just
it's great.
buy it?
Shut up.
We could put Diablo 2 or 3 on a vote. That'd be fun.
Is that even an
Diablo
RPG?
2.
I mean, I'm not fully on board with Johnny's "we're not playing RPGs this year" thing, so I intend to still squeeze some RPGs in there, frankly.
I mean, we're playing. Well, after the next game, we're playing a big RPG.
That's true. That's a good point. But, I like the little old ones sometimes. Like, I want to play
Excuse
Constant
me, I've heard
Fantasy.
many people say that the game we're playing next is not even an RPG anymore.
No, those people are wrong.
I know, I'm joking.
And those
Well,
are your
not
two
joking, they did.
clues, listeners.
Wait,
I'm sorry.
Are you?
Is
wait,
it even an
which-
RPG if you're not rolling dice on a tabletop? Like, get the fuck out of here, all you fucking posers with your JRPGs.
Well, then we'd have
Okay.
to basically play Crimson Shroud on the 3DS, where you do roll virtual dice and move little 3D miniatures. That game's fun.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, honestly, that game's great.
All right. Well, anyway, my point is that if you make us play Ace Combat 7, I will get you. I don't know how.
That's
I
not
don't
my
know when,
choice.
But
That's
I
not my choice.
Will
That's the
make
listener's
you
choice.
pay.
It does have like a super easy mode, so
Gonna make the
can play it.
make. Oh, great! That's what I like. That's fun for me too. Is when it's like, hey, you don't like this game, but there's an easy mode, so you can force feed it to yourself, Bayonetta. Hey, did you guys hear that we had a vote? And
Bayonetta
then
originally had the one-handed mode.
Oh,
did you
Gross.
listeners? Did you know that we had a Patreon vote for the next game and that Bayonetta won?
Yay!
Usually we would announce this with some sort of excitement in our voices, but not this time.
What?
I'm
Vanessa
fine
was
with it.
super excited.
I'm super
She's like,
excited. I mean,
Oh, a game about a lady protagonist.
yeah, that's great.
Not
Designed by
sexualized
a
at
lady
all.
fashion.
Fantastic.
Total opposite of Lara Croft. You don't even. The game
Lara.
doesn't even want you to think about her boobs or her breasts.
Well, good, because I won't.
Yeah, because it's so busy trying to make you think about her vagina. Because every shot I've seen of that game, the camera is lodged firmly in between her legs.
It's Hideki Kamiya, who is well known for respecting women.
Johnny can't even say it without laughing.
We would be more respectful to women if we played a Leisure Suit Larry game.
That is not true. I will argue that she is a trans icon, and a lot of ladies really like her. Are they lesbians? Sometimes. But that doesn't matter.
Lesbians are ladies, too.
Yeah.
Why does it feel like you have to convince Johnny of that?
Johnny doesn't know a lot about ladies, let's be honest.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's not Johnny's fault. He just don't know much about women. Mm-hmm. He knows they like shopping.
Monster
he knows
trucks.
they love drag queen.
And monster trucks.
Real Housewives. And that diamonds are their best friends, which is weird because you can't talk to a diamond.
Oh, you
I
can.
mean, you can, but it can't talk back.
Exactly. What a relief.
Whoa.
All right, Jim, how did you level up?
We're writing a 90s sitcom in here. I did a few things. I had some hot, deep, satisfying Gazzies.
Oh, that's great.
In case you guys were
Yeah,
wondering.
actually, let's go ahead and introduce this now. It's time for our Valentine's Day 2024 Gazzie update. How many Gazzies did you have this year, Jim? How many Gasms?
I lost
This
count. This
year?
is for the whole year?
This
like 2024?
year?
No, for Valentine's.
like
how
here
many
so far?
How many Valentine's Day Gazzies?
Oh.
You know? Let me put it another way.
Oh.
How many nuts did you bust?
That I feel like that Gazzies is work safe. Nuts is not.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing
We're
it's
gonna
work
get-
safe because this is based on a conversation that Matt sent us at like 10 in the morning on Valentine's Day.
All of if we keep this up, all of our 400th episodes are going to be put in the erotic section of the podcast.
Let me put it another way for you. Like, if you had a measuring cup, how much did you fill it?
See, I don't understand what a fluid ounce is, so I couldn't tell you.
I don't either.
1 cup? 2 cups?
Matthew,
How much jism?
I'm not going to tell you.
I was talking to Jim.
Oh, sorry.
I'll ask you next.
I thought you said jism.
If you're talking to Jim, please call it Jimsum.
That's just the this is the grossest segment that we've ever had, I think.
Yeah. I think we could just refuse to entertain it. We don't have to go into Gazzies.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about our Gazzies. But
All
I
right,
did.
you're right. You don't. But how many Gazzies? How many Gazzies? Just show me on your hands. Just show me on your hands.
Don't do it, Jim.
I'm not gonna be bullied into kissing and telling.
Yeah.
Vanessa's covering her eyes.
I think that's a good idea.
All right, listeners,
All
for
right.
the record, he held up 17 fingers.
Yeah.
Which is way more than I thought he had. So
Well,
first
you
of
used
all,
some
I mean,
toes there.
Well, he started taking that medicine,
Oh, you thought that was a toe.
that vitamin that you can take that like really is supposed to like, fill you up.
the limitless pill.
No. Limitless in some ways, yes. As in
So, Jay,
number of
how did you
Gazzies.
level
Speaking of bad movies like Limitless, I saw a movie called The
How dare you.
Beekeeper, a Jason Statham film, and it was super dumb but also like kind of awesome. Like Jason Statham plays an actual beekeeper who's actually like an undercover like secret agent guy that's basically like a Superman secret agent that's even above the government. And so when he's like living on this lady's land and she gets scammed by crypto bros and they take all of her money and then she kills herself. And so he goes to avenge her. And so the whole movie, he's basically Jason Voorhees killing crypto bros.
Oh,
At one
actually, I
point-
do kind of want to see that.
Yeah. At one point, one of the guys he's about to murder offers him an NFT. it's pretty amazing. It's very satisfying. I'll say that. It's really stupid. At one point, someone he's about to kill says, "To be or not to be," and then Jason Statham kills him, and then he says, "To be."
Does he go to be and then go like, bzzz?
Oh, and when these guys go to get revenge on him, it's like 3 guys with shotguns, and they obliterate he's an actual beekeeper. They obliterate his bee boxes with shotguns.
Not his bee box.
Pretty fantastic. Good stuff.
How many Gazzies would you say he has in that movie?
0. He had 0. I had a few.
Okay.
I also went to California for a few days for work, so that was fun. I got to be on a boat for a while.
Was it raining?
It was. It rained a little bit. It had mostly stopped by the time I got there, but it did rain a little bit. It's kind of windy. That's how I leveled up. Vanessa, how did you level up?
Thanks for asking. It was
And
since
how many Valentine's Day Gazzies are you willing to admit to on the show?
I am willing to admit to nothing.
You know, guys, this is supposed to be a yes and podcast.
No, not
No.
this time.
Yes, and what else can we talk about?
So I had a birthday weekend since we last recorded, and I did so many fun birthday activities. First but not foremost was a Batman-themed escape room. Riddle me this. Can a branded escape room match the creativity and fun of an unbranded escape room? No.
I'm going to guess yes, because I've yet to experience an escape room that had what I felt like was a lot of creativity or fun.
Well, I love escape rooms. This one was, as the kids would say, mid. I liked
So it was like official licensed Batman?
Yes, it was an official licensed Batman escape room. And it had, Bat paraphernalia, Bat villains. It had Bat voice actors, being the Batman. And one of his famous foes, I won't say who because it's a spoiler. And it had like 3 different rooms. It had a Batcave room, it had a Arkham Asylum room, and it had a rooftop room, like over the roofs of Gotham. However, there were some puzzles that just weren't, I won't say like not solvable, but there wasn't a way to solve them without guesswork and just kind of going through different permeations of a potential solution.
I have a question.
Yes.
How many times did you say, riddle me this?
Less than 10, I would say. More than 0.
How many times did you say, I'm Batman?
I didn't say I'm Batman because the scenario makes it very clear that you are a hero in training, and this is a test scenario that Batman has
That's terrible.
concocted for you. Yeah, so it wasn't probably the best escape room I've been to, but I do love an escape room, and it was a fun activity to do with my friends. I went to this sort of, I guess you'd call it a lecture or a sort of a combination lecture and performance. It was by this Irish, I want to say like storyteller. His name is Dara O'Brien, and you may know him from if you're familiar with like British television
Panel shows and such?
yeah, from like he was he hosted Mock the Week for ages, and then he was also on what else has he been on? He's been on Would I Lie to You, and he's been on Taskmaster. Yeah,
What's that?
Oh, yeah.
show called
never heard of that.
Taskmaster.
Is that new?
It's it's new-ish, I would say. And new episodes are coming out all the time. So look for Taskmaster on your YouTube or television if you're in the UK. Dara O'Brien, he was great. He talked a lot about his discovery when he was, near 30 that he was adopted, and his sort of journey navigating the Irish adoption records and trying to connect with his birth family. It was funny and touching.
Have you talked about this gentleman before?
I don't think I have talked about him before.
Didn't you see another Taskmaster contestant do like a one-man show reading about his life
Tim
thing?
Key.
Yep. I saw Tim Key do that.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Totally different guy.
Okay, but similar format.
Similar
I did
format in that it's
concept.
one person on a stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have feelings, I think I've talked about on the show, when Dara was like holding John from behind. I was like, there's one task where like they ended up in a very compromised position together.
Right.
And I was like, this is, I didn't know that Dara was my type, but in that position.
Dara is very intelligent. I think he has a degree in mathematics or something like that. And he is not a small man. So
Yes, he's a large gent.
he's a large gentleman. And he is very funny. And it was a good show. If he comes back to an area near you, check him out. That's how I leveled up Johnny.
Hello. Oh, this means Matthew's last again.
Oh, yeah, Matt hates going last. Sorry. Matt is blurred out. I can't even see him.
Like out of focus, yeah.
Hello.
Hey, bud.
I'm Matt.
How did you level up, Matt?
I watched the hottest new movie on streaming. It's called The Marvels, and I hated it.
Oh, yeah, I
Ooh.
saw that. I saw it in the cinema.
I haven't seen it
I don't know
yet.
if it's good or not.
It was okay. You hated it, though, right?
Well, I guess I didn't really hate it. It was okay. Like, it's tough. Like, I really like. I think Brie Larson is great in those movies, and I really liked the other actresses as well, and they all had great chemistry together. And there were some like really great action scenes, as we've talked about previously on the show, as is shown in the previews. There's some like power switching, or like not power switching, but like body switching stuff going on that's like fun and cool. And then, but overall, like it just doesn't land in the way that it feels like everything Marvel's put out in the last few years hasn't really landed. I don't know, man. I even have a hard time really like verbalizing what the problem is, other than just they're just not good. This movie's just not good anymore. I don't know what the fucking problem is.
My main two problems with that were that they kind of almost make her a Dr. Manhattan kind of character, where she's a little unrelatable at this point because she's so powerful.
Yeah.
And also, there's a comedy sequence involving cats that I just didn't enjoy.
Oh, I see. I wasn't sure if it was the cats or the singing that you didn't like. But
It was long.
yeah, and also, like, I love him, but Samuel L. Jackson, as Johnny has coined the phrase, is in the sitting down portion of his career. And it's very apparent.
old. He's
senior. It's just, but a lot of it is
older
really
than your president.
A lot of it is really just
he?
like in the directing and the script writing of like just stuff doesn't. It feels like they don't try anymore. I just really like, they just it feels like they just expect you to like be all in on what's going on the screen, and it doesn't bother to like draw you in.
Be a real movie.
Yeah,
I thought
like
Guardians 3 was good. Didn't you like
Guardians 3 is fucking amazing, but it's an outlier because it's all James Gunn and it's the end of his own trilogy, and
that? Right.
it's just not the same thing. Like all of their other stuff, it's even the shows. Like I really liked Loki season 2 by the end of Loki season 2, but the first couple episodes have the exact same problems of just like people not reacting in ways that you would expect them to, and everybody being real fucking friendly with each other in a ways that don't make for good storytelling. Do you know what I mean? When everybody just is instantly best friends and there's no tension between anybody and you're just fucking bored. And I really like those.
I know what you mean, but I feel like you're judging the genre before you've seen Madam Web, and that isn't really fair.
That's true.
That's
can't wait to
true.
watch
I
that.
heard that's a real powerhouse of a narrative.
I think I might go see that in the theaters this weekend.
I might too.
I'm not going to go see that.
Well, not this weekend.
Anyway,
Monday. I
like
don't have to work.
overall, like there were parts that I liked, and I don't think it had like a bad story or anything. It just didn't come together or work for me in ways, and it's a bummer. I don't understand what the fuck has happened. Other than part of it is like it's very formulaic, and like that formula was cool and interesting 15 years ago, and now it sucks. I'm sorry that your formula's fucking tired as shit, but it is.
Apology accepted.
My other level up is that I downloaded and have been playing Diablo 4, which is cool. I'm glad that I spent money on that a month before it comes out on fucking Game
Aw,
Pass.
buddy. Well, maybe our patrons can cover that.
I did get it for only $25, which is not a bad deal.
Oh, okay.
Because I had a $15 gift card. And I will say this, I'm really liking it. Like, is it the greatest game ever made? No. But is it a great way to, like, knock an hour out, to kill an hour? Yes, it is very fun. It looks amazing. I don't know what the plot is, and I don't care what the plot is. I kind of wish it didn't even have a plot. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and I was saying, like, remember how the first couple of Diablos were just, like, one big dungeon, basically? Where they were like, here's a 99 level dungeon that you're going to have to go down. And it was, and then people were like, we want to like
played
an
the first couple of
overworld and like
Diablos.
we want towns. And now they've given us that. And I wish that it was still just like one big dungeon that you went down. Like that was
Are the
better.
Torchlight games still just one big dungeon?
No. The second one moved away from that. And the third one, I never played the third one, but I've heard it's bad. But it's fun, and I'm currently playing a rogue, and I'm just following a guide for leveling up because there's kind of too many options. But I'm really enjoying it. It is a fun game, and there's a lot of like microtransact.
You can do it.
There's a lot of microtransactions.
Yay!
Yeah.
I just had a Gazzie. There's a lot of microtransactions, and but it seems to be cosmetic stuff, which like, okay, I don't care. I'm not gonna pay for them, but like I saw people complaining today about some new, it's a mount or something that costs like $50 or something crazy like that.
$69.
That's insane.
But it's cosmetic, so like, who cares? Don't buy it. I'm not going to buy it. Don't buy it. What's the problem?
You're doing a lot of work for the corporations here, Matthew.
I mean,
they don't
have
need your
been saying
protection.
for years.
Why are you carrying water for these corporations?
Pay to win
Look,
is
you wanting some
bullshit.
kind of corporate dude?
Pay to win is bullshit, but if you're selling cosmetics, then who fucking cares? It affects nobody. What's the problem? Okay, so anyway, but I'm enjoying it a lot, and yeah, like Diablo 4, like kind of a shocker. I haven't played one since Diablo 2, really. I bought Diablo 3 and played it for like 10 minutes. It was a real waste of money. But I have found myself very hooked on it, you know? And it feels classic Diablo-y to me. It plays well on the console with a controller instead of a keyboard and mouse. It's kept me coming back for the last week. Like, I'm enjoying it. Like, it's good. There's lots of little dungeons to delve into, lots of quests. It has a huge overworld that I still haven't even come close to unlocking all of. It's
I have
good.
a question for you, Matt.
Yeah.
Did you pay full price for this game?
No, he paid $25.
Hey, Jim, maybe you
you
should
paid
try listening
$25.
when people are talking.
Sorry.
Have you ever thought about doing that
So
before?
were you upset when they announced that it was going to be on Game Pass in a few weeks?
Yeah, I'm not thrilled about it. Again, did you not listen to the beginning of this conversation? Like, it sucks to be asked questions about things that somebody just said, you know?
Yeah.
Jim, where
And
did you go this
say
week? How
what
did
we're
you
doing
level
on
up?
the
I
show?
wouldn't know.
I don't want you to know.
Do you know there's a Batman escape room? I just
What?
read about this.
And you play as Batman?
I don't
you
even
guys
remember what
hear-
Jim did to level up.
Did you guys hear that Microsoft made a big announcement? Jim, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How many Gazzies did you have while we leveled up?
Oh, a lot.
I bet.
Still having them.
All right. Well, that's it for me. Diablo, fun. Marvels, ugh. I really wanted to like that movie more than I did, which is a bummer. Johnny, how did you level up?
Well, I worked a lot of overtime in January. As you all know, I was whining about work a lot. But that does mean I spent too much money on video games this month because I got some nice paychecks.
All right. Classic Johnny.
Yeah. I got EA WRC. It was on sale. I bought it for the PlayStation 5. It got some kind of mixed to not great reviews, and I was really enjoying it. Although the last stage I played was, I think, like Finland, maybe? It was a snowy one. And like the textures, it was like a checkerboard where half of it was the real snow texture and half of it was like this highlighter yellow and red like placeholder textures that they never fixed. And so it was like, it was so distracting that they obviously hadn't finished texturing this level. And
That's crazy.
This is a final release game that's been out for like 4 months.
Wow.
EA Codemasters, get your shit together.
Maybe that's just what Finland looks like. Finnish listeners, write in.
Mm-hmm. I know we have at least 2 Finnish listeners.
I love Finland.
Like Peter
I've never
Tapio.
been there.
John, maybe your hardware just couldn't render the next generation graphics on EA WRC. Did you ever think about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I also have a question for you. I got a gift card from work for Xbox, and I was like, oh, I can buy all these games on the Xbox store and PC because, I have a powerful PC, so I could get like Tekken 8 or EA WRC or the Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Mm-hmm. None of these games are for sale on the Xbox store. It's like they kind of gave up on that side of their business.
You mean not on sale or not for sale?
You can't buy it. Yeah, you cannot buy them.
I bought Jedi Survivor from the Xbox store. I mean, this is back when it first released, but I own it on my Xbox.
Yeah, on PC. They can't
buy it on PC.
They aren't updating their PC store anymore. I guess it's just all Game Pass, and they don't really care about retail sales.
Don't EA games release on PC? Don't they? Do they have their own platform for releasing their software?
They do, but I thought they would just I'm pretty sure you could buy EA WRC on like Steam, and then it just opens up the EA app like the Need for Speed games do.
Oh, right.
So yeah,
weird.
None of those games were on. Like, there's barely any new games on their retail store. So I got them all. I got EA WRC and the Star Wars game on my Xbox. I also picked up because there was a episode of Retronauts this past week about listing all the best Contra games, and they're ranking them.
Ooh.
It was a really fun episode. So they mentioned a couple that are on PS3 as PS2 classics. So you can just still buy them for $10, and they're really good. Contra Shattered Soldier for the PS2, fantastic. Just really, really good. Neo's top down, so this is fine. But that Shattered Soldier is really fun. But they also said to get Hardcore Uprising, which was like a Contra spinoff.
What was that on 360 maybe? Yeah, I remember that. It looked good.
The sprite art is amazing because it's like Arc
it.
System Works, but the backgrounds look like just real shitty, cheap Xbox Live Arcade stuff.
I mean, I gotta say, I was just never a Contra guy. Like, I didn't like that gameplay style.
Oh, I do. I
like that. I'm more of a Mega Man boy.
See, I need to get a boyfriend so I can have someone to play Contra games with. Need a second player, and maybe 3 or 4 boyfriends so we could play like bigger multiplayer games together. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you already have 3 or 4 boyfriends. It's us.
Yeah.
Aw, that's nice.
We play games with you.
Mm-hmm. Let me just look. So what else did I do? I did the Contra. Oh, I got Tekken 8, and Bob's not in it, and Marduk's not in it. Frankly,
I'm sorry. What did you just say to me? You son of a bitch!
Tekken 8?
You fucking asshole!
What's wrong with Tekken 8?
You told me you weren't going to get Tekken 8.
When?
When I said I wanted to get Tekken 8. And you were like, I still don't even play Street Fighter. I'm not going to get Tekken 8. And I was like, well, let's play some Street Fighter this weekend. And then that never happened, and you bought Tekken 8.
Microsoft store credit. And it's crossplay, so you can get on whatever platform you want. I'll play it with you.
Yeah,
I ended up
actually
playing...
watching. I've been watching a streamer play. His name is Maximilian Dude. Jim turned me on to him, and he releases daily fighting game videos. And I've been watching his Tekken 8 stuff, and I really want to play it. Like, it looks fun. It looks fun, but it also looks like I'll never learn to play it good.
I would wait. Matt,
I'm going to wait for a sale.
Yeah. I don't think it's worth $90 that I paid for it plus tax, but that's Canadian. So I ended up, because it doesn't have any of my favorite characters, I ended up playing this morning when I was just, playing some games before bed. I ended up playing online Tekken 7 on my PC. That game's fun and still looks great. And I won a match. I won an online match. I was very proud of myself.
I mean, that's good. The
Congratulations.
Tekken games, the fighting games do like ranked fighting, where they match you up with people at your skill level, which is cool.
No, but Tekken 7's also
I still
7 years
lose all of them because I suck at fighting games.
So
Me too. I'm terrible at them.
But I like playing
there
them
was about
they're fun.
10 people playing. So I did match up against the same amazing players over and over again and died a lot, but
Okay.
Still,
Jim,
it was fun.
John, I see that you've written Gazzies here in your level up notes.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. I also, I don't know if you all saw that on, I did it through x.com, but I did interview Putin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you went on TV and was like, wow, Russian grocery stores are way better than the grocery stores in America.
It's so obvious that Russia is just straight up paying a handful of American journalists now to just talk about how great Russia is. Have y'all seen some of the shit Matt Walsh has been saying on Twitter? Like, wow, the Russian healthcare system is so much better than the United States. Get fucked.
I think it's more that they gave weird loans to these people years ago and are now collecting. That's my conspiracy corner,
Well,
or have
maybe.
compromat on them.
Same difference there. Right?
I bet there's some Russian oligarch that's funding all these right-wing media networks, and now it's
100%.
Okay. Yeah.
But the best part was, did you see Putin after the thing saying he was saying that that I was such a bad interviewer and that he wished he'd asked some good questions, but he was too much of a weakling to do so.
I saw a clip during the interview where they were talking about the CIA, and famously Tucker Carlson tried to get into the CIA and they wouldn't let him. And Putin was like, "Yeah, good, because you're an idiot. That would have been a huge disaster if they let you in the CIA."
It's hilarious that the people that own, Tucker Carlson, they can't even be bothered to show him the least amount of respect because they know that he's bought and paid. He's a bought and paid for fucking shill, and they know it. So why should they respect him? He's a traitor. Nobody respects traitors.
All right, well, Matthew, why don't you sing us into the quest log?
The quest log. Ugh, that was not good. But
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
loved it.
It felt good.
Yeah.
I had a Gazzie.
yeah, John, you didn't talk about your Gazzies. You got Gazzies right here in the notes. I don't know why you guys want to talk about Gazzies so bad, but that's where we're at.
As you may or may not recall, because we took a little break here, we ended our last Dragon Age episode by fleeing the Temple of Mythal through an alluvion as Corypheus closed down upon us.
Some people say alluvion. I feel like, but not Morrigan. She doesn't say alluvion. Does Leliana say it? Maybe. One of the other characters does say it the proper way.
Yeah, there are inconsistent pronunciations throughout this game. which I can only assume is due to voice actors recording their lines at different times.
What about, we say Lara and Lara.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
true.
real life. People pronounce
And
things
Minotaur
differently.
and Minotaur.
Ferelden say
exactly.
Alluvian, and Orlesians say Alavian.
Ouroboros.
Nobody says Ouroboros.
I do.
Some people say Verbatime.
Yeah, it's true.
Some people sleep on hot dogs. It's a big world.
It's true.
Some people have romantic dreams about Spencer Reed from Criminal Minds.
What? Who?
Just, as a random example.
Some people spend
Wasn't
all
I-
of Valentine's Day asking their friends how many orgasms they've had that day.
So, did you notice when you're jumping into the Alluvion that a form of a woman seemed to appear to protect you?
A woman?
Is it
Yeah,
Morgan?
in the water.
Is it a hot woman?
I did notice the woman in the water.
And I thought that was very interesting.
It is very interesting.
Who was
Maybe
the
it's
woman in the
Andraste
water?
again.
I thought it was Mithra. Mithril? What's her
Mythal.
name?
Put
Mythal.
some respect on her name.
Sorry.
So we arrive back in Skyhold. We stumble back through the alluvion that Morgan has put there, and we're back home, safe and sound.
Well, Corypheus does try to go into the mirror, but he just bounces off of it.
Yeah.
He's dumb. He's fucked up every single thing he's done since the beginning of this game.
It's like Wile E. Coyote trying to go into the painted hole.
It was. And then
John was
little
watching,
birds appeared above his head. And it was like,
John, I was watching Community last night with my son, and I don't know if you remember at the great end of episode stinger where Abed paints a tunnel on a wall and like
Yes.
a painted, an animated Abed, and he's like, Troy, come, you just have to run to me. Run to me. You just have to believe. And then Troy starts to make the motion, and Abed's like, no, wait. I may have done some damage there. What a great show.
so back in Skyhold, it's time to sort of talk about our decisions and what happened at the well. I think that my Inquisitor is the only one who drank from it, right? The rest of you chose Morgan.
Yeah, I chose Morgan.
Correct.
Morgan can have whatever she
me and
wants.
Morgan are besties. I wasn't gonna ruin our friendship by telling her not to drink from it.
I don't
And
know
besides-
if you can, and I didn't try to romance Morgan in this one, but
Did she have a kid in yours? Because
No, 'cause I
the
didn't-
first time I played, because I think this time I didn't hook her up with Alistair like I did last time.
ew.
Yeah, she has a kid. Alistair and her love child from Origins are hanging around. And her kid is a creepy little boy. As you recall from Origins, she wanted
Wait.
to put the soul
Oh,
of the
we
archdemon.
discussed that the open relationship you and Alistair had in Origins.
We didn't have an open relationship. I just made him sleep with Morgan once to create a little godchild. So, yeah, the little godchild is there. And he's like, "Oh, are you an elf? I can see your blood." And I'm like, "That's great, kid. Awesome."
Oh God.
I like your tattoo that says damaged on your forehead.
So back in the war room, my Inquisitor at least was sort of vaguely hearing these voices, and Morgan's like, "If you'd let me drink from it, I could have heard them real good. Not like you can only half hear them, you suck." What happened for those of you who had Morgan drink?
She's reading books and listening. She's like, I understand it now. I understand the nuance of the words and the poetry. And we got this all wrong. I like
Wow.
that. I like that scene.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all.
Matthew, did you get her
I got
in
the same
garden?
thing you got. She was reading the book. It was,
Yeah, me too.
it's cool. She's really excited about all the knowledge she's gaining. She's learning that the elves shut the Alluvians down themselves. She had assumed it was something else, but a big part of this, not a big part, but a small part of this game is everybody kind of learning that what their preconceptions about the early, days of this world were wrong. That the elves didn't, get destroyed by the Tevinter, they destroyed themselves. That the elves shut the Illuvians down themselves because they were at war with each other.
Yeah,
I really-
interesting.
It is. It is interesting, yeah.
When you let Morgan drink from the well, like you get a whole long list of everyone that's upset with you about it. It's pretty great.
You
I mean,
do.
that has been my experience every time I do anything in this game.
Well, it's the same when I drank from it myself. Like, Sarah hated that. Solus wasn't very thrilled with it. He was like, I told you not to drink from it, and you drank from it, and now you're a thrall of Mythal. And I was like, deal with it. I'm Dalish. I freaking love Mythal. She's the mother goddess.
Solus is a piece of shit. And also, I befriended Sarah this time, and she's my BFF now, and I love her.
Did you go on trick sprees
Yes.
with her?
I went on a
doing
prank spree.
Tricks?
I went on a prank spree, and the game kept being like, you don't have to do this, and giving me the option to be like, this is too far, Sarah. But I was like, no. All of my options were like, yes, what are we doing next?
Josephine gets so mad if you dunk her with the water.
Dunk
That's
her with
great.
the water. It's fucking fantastic.
I did try to romance Sarah this time and failed. Even though she was in my party a lot, she's like, "We don't hang. I don't.
wow.
I understand, and you're very cool, but we really should get to know each other more first."
Wow.
And then she
Well, in that
never,
case,
nothing never happened.
I do have romance time here in the notes. I'm just going to take Sarah and Johnny right out of there.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
So back to the present. In my game, Morgan discovers that her little demon boy, Kieran, has gone through the Illuvian, and she chases after him.
Oh, wow.
You guys don't have Kieran, so did she go back into the Illuvian in your game?
Nope, not at all.
Wow. So I'll tell you
So
all about
tell us about this.
what happened when little Kieran went through the Illuvian. So she is chasing after Kieran through the Illuvian, and I follow her, and she's like, oh my gosh, we're like here. It looks like the Fade. Please help me find Kieran. So we look around for him, and we find him in short order hanging out with his grandma, Flemeth herself.
Oh.
So, yeah, she's hanging out there, and she...
That does not happen here for us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep, so she's hanging out with Kieran, and she's like, hey, little buddy. And Morgan's like, get away from him. I can't believe you. You're trying to get your claws into my son. I hate you. You're the worst mom. And Morgan, like, draws her staff back to blast Flemeth in the face. And Flemeth says to the Inquisitor, hey, stop her from doing that, please. And the Inquisitor grabs Morgan and stops her. And Morgan's like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then Flemeth's like,
Whoa.
you drank from that well, so now you're a thrall of Mythal. And I was like, but that means you're... And Flemeth is like, what's up? I'm straight up Mythal.
She's not, though. Yeah, sort of.
She's not, though. Yeah.
Wait, she's not?
She kind of
she-
is. Like she was a person before.
Yeah, she was a person, and Mythal came to her and possessed her, essentially, like a spirit.
Oh.
And she's got the spirit of Mythal in her. Morgan says that the reason Flemeth seems to live forever is that she raises daughters and then takes over their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, we learned that in Origins, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
Flemeth is like, not really. It's more that like Mythal hops on into the next body.
Is that what she says?
That's what she said to me.
Huh.
Oh, interesting.
To me, it was
Yeah,
for
we
me. It
don't
was
really get
more
this.
vague, where she was like, "You're wrong, my child." Tee-hee-hee-hee-hee. But I guess that
Yeah.
makes. She didn't really explain it, so that does make more. That makes sense. She told Morgan that she was always safe with her, which was kind of a nice closing out
Yeah.
to that story.
But
With my
wasn't she
wife,
gonna
Morgan.
kill Morgan in Origins?
Hey,
That's what
it's
she
called a
said.
retcon.
You know.
It's called a retcon, Johnny.
Anyway,
Okay.
she offers Morgan a deal. She says, leave Kieran here with me, and you can go and live your happy life and be free. And Morgan's like, no way. I love Kieran. I might have made him just to get the archdemon power, but he's my son now, and I love him. And
Aw.
Flemeth is like, okie dokie, and she waves her hand around Kieran and I think removes his archdemon soul, from what I can tell. Because when she's done, he looks at her and he's like, no more voices? And she's like, yeah, no more voices, darling. Go back to your mom. So he does. And then Flemeth is like, by the way, since I'm Mythal, I want you to know that I know what you need to do next. What you need to do is go to my temple and get yourself a dragon. Corypheus has a dragon. You need a dragon to defeat his dragon. His dragon has a little piece of his soul in it. You gotta defeat the dragon before you can defeat Corypheus.
We got
Okay,
something-
Mythal out.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to the Temple of Mythal, because it's very different.
Is it? I think that we basically get the same thing. It just doesn't happen before
No,
we go to the Temple of Mythal. Like Morgan reads the book and it's like, we have to go to the Temple of Mythal.
Yeah.
And we do. And then she
Right.
basically the same thing happens without the kid.
Well, but I think
Yeah,
in
it's
our
true.
version, she transforms into the dragon with her power of Mythal.
She does.
But I don't think that
Well,
happens. in
Morgan
Vanessa.
does. Morgan
You're
does.
right, I see.
Yeah.
So where do you
Morgan
get
becomes the dragon at the end.
Yeah, so is this just a different dragon?
I guess. Certainly no one transformed into a dragon for me.
Where did you get the dragon?
It was just there. I just showed up there and it came.
That doesn't actually make a lot of sense. So
I also got to talk to her about being Mythal from a Dalish perspective. I was like, hey, our people worship you. Why aren't you helping us? And she looked very sad, and she's like, you can't change the past, and I can't undo what has happened. Which was a pretty
doesn't
vague
seem to-
response.
she doesn't seem to view the modern day elves as elves so much,
Yeah.
you know? Like they're so far. It's kind of like that. I don't even remember if we talked about it, but there's a temple that I think we did. There's a temple that you go to where there's a bunch of like ancient elves that are in like cryostasis, right?
Yeah, we talked about that.
And they kind of don't really look at the modern day elves as, their people. So it's very similar to that.
I
It's
guess
interesting.
it's sort of like if you took someone from the United Kingdom or from England from like 1050, and then you were like, yeah, we don't really follow the king anymore. Like there is one, but we have a parliament and things like that. They'd be like, you're no true Englishman. Like they do. So yeah, that's how I learned about the dragon, and I guess for you guys, Morgan just told you about it.
Yeah,
Well,
she
no,
did. Yeah,
no,
she's like,
Flemeth.
No.
That
did
happens
meet
at the
Flemeth.
Temple of Mythal
yeah,
for us.
yeah. There's
where-
a pretty good reveal at the Temple of Mythal.
All right.
If you
Well, before we head over to the Temple of Mythal, we still have a little bit of time to make some friends and have some fun before we have to do our final battle. So let's talk about making friends and having fun in Companion Corner.
I did
Demands of the
Iron
king.
Bull. I did Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's the
Josephine.
only two. No, I didn't realize Josephine. And
Yeah, I did Josephine. I did Liliana.
we talked about Blackwall / Thomas Rainier.
I never did that because you had told me about it. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck this guy.
So did he just
Did he
disappear and you just let him be gone?
He only disappears if you become good enough friends with him.
Ah. That makes sense. So I think we should talk about Iron Bowl because this
Yeah.
is a significant game point.
This quest line has, and I remember noting this to Julio, my friend, when we were playing it through the first time, like the worst production value quest, like the real KOTOR level production values, where their stuff happens in a very like blurry scene very far away, and it's so cheap looking. I love it. It's like in Smallville where they're like, look, a helicopter, and you don't see the helicopter, you just hear the sound of a chopper.
It's called stagecraft, Johnny.
Oh yeah.
So in this quest, Iron Bowl tells us, hey, you know how I'm a Qunari spy? Well, I have this really great opportunity for you to ally yourself with the Qunari. You just need to head on over to the Storm Coast, take out some Venatori to Vinter people who are there by supporting our Dreadnought ship, and it's going to be great. So we head out there and we meet his old friend, Gat.
Gat has facial animation that looks like what's that thing? The Half-Life mod where you can do stupid animations. Gary's mod. It looks like Gary's mod where he's smiling and it just looks like his face has been like twisted up when he's smiling. It's real weird.
Gat is a Qunari in the sense that he follows the Qunari, but he is an elf.
The Felicia Day style.
The Felicia Day
Qunari.
style Qunari. He and Iron Bull have a whole bunch of banter about their past and all the wacky shenanigans that they got into. And then it's decided that we need to eliminate 2 Venatori camps. So our squad, including Iron Bull and Gat, will take on one of them, and the Chargers will go to the other one. Chargers, of course, are Krem, the
Roscoe,
Stabber.
Blippi.
the elf they keep saying isn't
Grumpy.
a mage. She's like, I have a bow. It's a bow. But she
Yeah, I
blasts
like
magic from it.
Tramper. Jim, who are some of your favorite Chargers?
I like Big Builder.
Yeah.
Darren, the finance guy.
Yeah. Vanessa?
You would like Darren the Finance Guy. Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like their female representation. So I like Sally Jenkins. I like Flooz, even though she's a little bit of a stereotype with the, sworker stuff. And I like Ma Gratton.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite is Gazzie.
Yeah.
Well, we all love Gazzie.
But Gazzie just walks up and says, I'm Gazzie!
That's the new podcast mascot. I'm Gazzie.
Yeah. What I love
imagine
is
he looks
Gazzie
like...
sound like she's smoked for 75 years.
what I love is any Chargers scene. Like the Chargers are always like way ahead, and they're like Gazzie, and then Gazzie's like,
I'm coming.
Gazzie's helping!
So we head towards our camp. We take out the Venatori there, and the Chargers seem to have taken out their Venatori at their camp, but we see a whole group of Venatori headed towards the camp that the Chargers have taken over.
Not when the 3 polygon ships are exploding with fire deep
not
in the
when
foggy
yeah.
distance.
And the Dreadnought ship is coming in, and Gat tells us we have to stay here and cover the Dreadnought. If the Chargers don't hold that camp, then the Dreadnought is going to be destroyed, and there will be no alliance between you and the Qunari. But it's pretty clear that the Chargers won't survive this assault. So, we have a decision to make. Jim Banks, what did you do?
I didn't do this quest.
Great. Matthew Van Zandt, what did you do?
This was legitimately, I think, the hardest decision I had to make in this game.
You sacrificed Gazzie, didn't you?
Because I did maybe you have to do it to. I guess you probably have to do it before you can get Iron Bull's quest, but you get to like hang out and drink with and listen, we all know I like to drink, so for me this was very like familiar. I was like, oh, I love this. Like I'm hanging out drinking with this gang. I had a good old time. And I did really enjoy the introduction to the Chargers. I sacrificed them.
Monster.
Horrible.
But he's gonna be Iron Bull's gonna be fucking like excommunicated if
Yeah,
you
he'll be
don't. And
Talbot
like,
Yeah, but he loses besties. Roscoe.
you
Tim
don't have
Tam.
besties in
Gazzie.
the Coon, I guess. They're
Gazzie.
fucking.
Iron Bull, how could you?
I said Coon. Yeah, you don't have besties in the Coon, I guess. Like it's a cult. I'm sorry.
Why,
Get it.
Gazzie, bleed?
You know, you have to love your friends even if they're in a cult. Unless it's the cult of Trump, in which case you need to find new friends.
I let the dreadnought blow up. I saved the Chargers.
As did I.
Wow. Monsters.
I mean, I guess everyone on the ship died, but they signed up for battle. They knew that.
And we don't
So
know. We
did
didn't
the
have
Chargers.
a 40-minute. We didn't have a 40-minute cutscene introducing every single member of the boat.
Yeah. Although we saw a little bit of the crew. We saw sailor sloopers. We saw
Tim Tam too.
yeah. We saw Minkin.
Gavin the rope guy.
Yeah.
Oh, Slipknot? You mean Slipknot, the man who can climb anything?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Cheppers.
So yeah, this is a pretty big quest. If you let the ship explode, Iron Bull is excommunicated. He becomes Tel-Vashoth, and his character card changes to a very sad-looking Iron Bull, surrounded by the blood of his people.
Like what you
Wow,
monsters
dark.
did.
So I was like,
I
I
have a
saw
lot to
Chargers
say
die,
about-
and he wasn't happy about it, but he understood it, and he was happy that like his, he still had his place among his people.
I really want to know what
I was like,
happens,
hey, Bull. Well, actually, you know what? I didn't get an option to say I'm Tel-Vashoth too, and it's not so bad. There's several times where stuff happens with Iron Bull where he's like explaining Qunari culture, and I'm like, oh, dude, look at these corns. I'm aware of this stuff, and it's not an
Yeah.
option.
I think
I'm really excited to see what happens to you guys in Trespasser.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
We're gonna trespass, I guess, is probably what we're gonna do.
I believe that when this game was being made, they didn't intend to include races other than humans, and then sort of added that at the last minute, and that's why there's a lot of dialogue that doesn't really make sense. Like, as a Dalish elf, I'm always able to ask, like, who Mythal is, and really, you should know that.
Yeah.
It's like, they're like, you are the keeper of the Dalish tribe. Your job is to know all the lore. And I'm like, who Mythal? I want to talk about Cole a little bit. In a segment I've titled Cole and the Real Boy.
Oh, what's up? What's Cole's deal?
Well, Cole's deal is that Cole is a spirit of compassion. But unlike other spirits, he doesn't seem to be possessing anybody. So how is he able to be in the world? It's very confusing. So this quest starts when Cole comes to you very upset because he is worried that somebody is going to enthrall him, like the Grey Wardens were doing with their demons and spirits, and make him hurt people. So we can talk to Solus, and Solus is like, well, I've heard about this special amulet that will stop spirits from being controlled. So we need to get that for Cole. You can do that at the war table, and then when it shows up, Cole tries it on, and it doesn't work. And Solus is like, it doesn't make sense that this wouldn't work. And that's when Varric shows up, and Varric's like, hey, what's up? I think it makes total sense because Cole isn't just a spirit. He's becoming a real boy. He's a person now. And Solus is like, that's awful. I hate people. I love spirits, and I don't want Cole to be a person. Cole decides that he needs to go to Redcliffe and confront someone there because he feels a pull and he thinks that this will sort of resolve his inner conflict. So he goes there and sees this guy and he's like, "Oh, you killed me." And the guy is like, "What?" And Cole's like, "I remember now exactly what's going on with this body. He was a little mage boy. This guy here found him and locked him in a room and let him starve to death. And I felt that and I came and like possessed his dead body. And this guy killed me. He sucks. I'm going to kill him."
Mm-hmm.
And here you have a choice. You can either let him kill him and get his revenge, which Varric is kind of like, yeah, that's what he needs to do. He needs to feel anger and feel the full range of human emotions. And Solus is like, no, his nature is compassion. He's meant to only be compassionate all the time to everybody. He's got to be compassionate here. And we have a choice. So I was like, hey, Cole, your nature's compassion and you should be compassionate all the time. And you've got to be
Lame.
compassionate here. And so
Not me. I was like, go get him.
yeah, you let it out, bud. So
Yeah, you deal with that.
in my case, Cole was like, oh, okay. And he like senses the fear of the guy he's attacking and feels compassion for his perspective. And Cole's like, well, it still hurts me to have these memories of, you know, what you did to this guy. So I'll just make myself forget, because that's what he does to other people. He takes away their like bad memories and things like that. He's like, I can make myself forget my bad memories. And he does.
Wow.
Then the amulet works on him because he is, once again, fully a spirit.
Wow.
What happened
You guys
with you,
really
Johnny?
fucked him over, huh?
I was like, you know what? You want to kill this guy? Go ahead. I've killed plenty of people. You
Jesus
try it.
Christ.
And so then he like stabs and keeps hitting him. Then we're like, oh, Cole, buddy, he's a paste now. You could stop. And yeah, he really feels his humanity and learns what it's like to. Although he's already killed lots of people because he's a backstabby stabber.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he becomes more human. He appreciates the opportunity to learn about vengeance and murder.
Well, for me, he was very happy to be back to his compassion spirit self.
You're monsters.
What
Well,
did you
what
do?
were we supposed to do?
There's
What
two
did you
options,
do?
aren't there?
No, I stopped him from murdering the man.
What?
I told him, don't murder that man.
Yeah, I feel like there is. Can't you say be more of a person, but then be like, but don't actually do that, right?
Yeah. I told him not to kill that man. And then we let him go. And Cole was like, I hate the way this makes me feel. And I was like, that's good, though. That makes you more of a person. Like, you have to learn to live with the pain of life if you want to be a real boy. And Cole appreciated it. The amulet did not work on him, but he said he didn't think he needed it because he doesn't need it because he's more of a real boy than a fake boy. And so he doesn't have to worry about the possession or whatever the deal was, that he could be turned or whatever, because he's more human than spirit.
Well, I think it's fine to be a spirit, and I didn't want to change his nature.
It's not, but the argument that I had with the characters was he's already on this path. He's made this decision. This is what he wants. He wants to be real.
Well, he's not. He's a spirit.
He is, and you are racist, Rachel Slurs.
Wow. Against humans, I guess.
Against ghosts.
Against ghosts. Yeah.
Ghosts
You're not
can't be
gonna have
real boys.
a ghost be a real boy and then like try to pretend to be a real boy to me. No, thank you. Jim, did you do this quest? I already know the answer. He didn't do any of the companion quests.
I know. He played this
hates his
entire
companions.
game a month and a half before we started the show and didn't do any of the side content.
I did a couple of the companion quests. I did a Varric one, and I did an Iron Bowl one, and I did a Blackwall one, and that's all I did.
You just told us
but
you
you
didn't
said-
do
yeah.
the Iron Bowl one when we discussed the Iron Bowl one.
Yeah.
There's more than one, isn't there?
No, there's not.
There are
I thought
scenes,
they all had multiple ones. Oh.
but a quest is different than a scene.
Oh. Okay. Well, no, didn't do it.
Jim,
not
how
even
many
sorry.
Gazzies did you have while you got up and fixed your drink?
I'm Gazzie.
What are you drinking over there, Jim?
This is just Fresca, actually.
Oh.
I think
Drinking
that's a
alone
great choice,
again.
Jim.
Thank you. I love a nice, delicious Fresca.
Jim told me to drink on the show tonight. I thought he would join me, but instead,
I have some
I'm s-
delicious filtered water.
So the next two companion things are interesting because there's your war table buddies companion corners.
oh yeah, I didn't do
Josephine
these.
and Liliana.
I didn't really realize you
Josephine
could
has
do
a-
these, but I never talked to them outside of the war table.
Yeah. And Liliana's kind of hard to find because she's like up in the attic basically of Skyhold. Mm-hmm. And Josephine, like, you're going to the war table. Do you really want to take a minute? It's like when you're going to get some coffee at work. Do you take a minute to go say hey to your coworker every time you walk through? I do. You know, check
Every
in on
single
her.
time?
Yeah, pretty much.
You sound like a menace interrupting someone all the time.
Americans are real weird about this. We've talked about this before. That like you're wasting valuable company time. Like fuck off. We're all humans. We can interact with each other. It's not like I'd stand by their
That's
door.
why I think it's disturbing. I don't care if you're a time thief, but I don't want you interrupting me every time you go get coffee.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between being an American that's like, don't waste company time, and also being a human being that doesn't
My
want to
time's so
fucking talk. Listen,
important. You can't
No, it's
take
like, leave me
5
alone.
fucking seconds to be a human because I'm American.
we have a
Boss
guy in
makes
our
a dollar,
office.
I make a dime. That's why I poop on company time.
I'm so productive. So Josephine is like, yeah, you know, I used to be part of this like super noble family and we had a lot of power in Orlais, but then we got on someone's bad side and they basically stripped us of all our land and our everything but our titles basically, and they screwed us over on this like some kind of some deal to get their house back. Someone assassinated them, and then you find out when we're looking into it, it was like someone had hired the Antivan Crows, like what Liliana and that Spanish Puss in Boots from the first game.
Zephyrin.
Zephyrin. Yeah, what he was from. And so there's a contract out on you. Or out on Josephine, and but they were very nice about it. They're like, "Hey, we're not coming to kill you. We just wanted to tell you, like, this is a bit weird that there's like 100-year-old contract out on your family, and so you can't get your title back. But we figured we'd do you the honor of letting you know why."
Yeah, but they do say that if you keep trying to, then we're going to have to kill you. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think they'll just have to kill her anyway because she did try. And it's like the contract's against anyone who tries to get the title back.
Mm-hmm. And so you go back to her office, and she's like, "Well, and Liliana's there too." And Liliana's like, "Well, we could just steal that contract, and they won't be able to deal with it anymore. We might have to murder a few people on the way." And Josephine's like, "I don't want you murdering anyone to get my family's title back. It's not that important." And she's like, "Well, maybe we could do it diplomatically. It might take some time." And Liliana's like, "And you might get murdered during this time." She's like, "Yeah, but I think we should do it the diplomatic way and not do the murder way."
I love how, as a small aside, I love how in this game, the people are constantly asking the essentially leader of their movement to go on deadly, like, murder-centric missions. You know?
Well, this one's fun because you don't. There's no combat. There's no combat at all
Nope,
during
there's
this.
not in this
But
one.
I understand that, but I'm saying otherwise, it's very silly that they're like, you're our only hope. You're the only man that has a magic hand that can save the world. Could you go fight this dragon for us?
Yeah.
Like, where's my
It's true.
secret service? That's what I'm talking about.
So, we'll get to that. But Vanessa, how did you solve this situation?
I solved this situation diplomatically. I went through the long, many-faceted war table missions to first, you have to find a living heir to the family that put the contract out in the first place. You have to find someone to sponsor that person back into the nobility. You have to find a judge to sign off on sponsoring them back into the nobility. And then once they are back in the nobility, you have to convince them to cancel the contract on Josephine's life. Because only nobles can make contracts, and there's no noble left associated with the family who made the contract in the first place. So it's all very complicated. It takes a long time. But in the end, Josephine was happy. Unless
you tell... well, first I told Josephine, oh yeah, don't worry. We'll definitely do this diplomatically. Wink! I wink at Leliana. And then I go to the war table and have Leliana's secret society, service troops steal the contract. And so, yeah, it's just like Matthew said. It's not the Inquisitor. You just get Leliana's friends to go do this for you. And I thought that was pretty fun because, Leliana's like, yeah, we'll get this done. And so they just sneak in. Sure, a few throats are slit. That comes with the territory of being an Antivan Crow. You know that maybe someone makes a little slicey on your throat. We got the contract and burned it. And Josephine's no longer... we can now get her title back, and she's no longer under threat from the crows.
Liliana's the redhead, right?
yeah.
I don't mean to sound like an asshole. Those two characters in my mind are the same character. Like a year from now, I'm not going to remember that it was two people.
One
I
is
like the
French.
clipboard candle lady.
Yeah, clipboard candles like
Josephine.
Spanish coded.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I like her.
and
I hated that
Liliana's
clipboard candle,
French.
to be honest with you. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh, neat. And then I saw it 1,000 more times, and I was like, I hope that you fucking set your paper on fire.
You're getting wax all over that paper.
Yeah.
It's fun. Like we just have like a nice conversation on the balcony after, and she's like, well, it's really nice that my family's cared for. And there is one point before that where they're like, well, you're not poor. And she's like, yeah, I know that there's a million more things to worry about, and our family still has some money, but it would be nice to have our legacy and stuff. I thought that was a fun little nuance to the conversation that you kind of insult her for wanting to be rich lady. But yeah, so she gets her title back, and she's happy. She's not happy about the way I did it, and that I went behind her back to get people murdered.
She was very happy about the way I did it. She's like, this is great. That family is noble again, which is nice. Like, our family probably never should have gone against them in the first place. And now I'm a noble again, and we're going to do great business together. Everything worked out.
I think everything worked out great for me, too.
Yeah.
Except for the people that died.
Liliana's quest is just going to go find something that Divine Justinia left for her in a chantry. So we go there. There's another woman there, another sister, and she's like, "Oh
Sister
my God,
bestie.
Liliana! Yeah, I can't believe it's you. I'm so happy to see you." And Liliana's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were at this chantry. Do they still do the prayers on Friday?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, it's great." And Liliana gives her a hug and then looks at the Inquisitor and is like shaking her head like, So we go through, we have to solve a tiny little puzzle to open a secret vault and see Justinia's treasure. And it is a a note that says, basically, sorry I failed you, Liliana. And Liliana's like, what the fuck? She didn't fail me. I failed her. She's the one who died. Then the sister there kind of pulls a knife. Liliana is faster, has her at knife point, and this other Chantry sister's like, you suck. We hate the Inquisition. I'm loyal to the Chantry. Liliana's like, hey, do you think I should totally kill this girl or what? And you can be like, yes, you should, or no, you shouldn't. I told her, no, why would you kill her? Like, she sucks at being an assassin and a spy. Just let her go. She's nothing. What did you think, Johnny?
The idea, there was more of this in the first game. Like, you could harden Alistair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could.
So this basically changes the way Liliana...
How many Gazzies did Alistair have while you hardened him, Vanessa?
Well,
So
and
many.
while Morgan. Anyway,
I don't want to talk about that. That was just one. It was one, and he didn't like it.
No, it's fine. You wanted Alistair to cuck you, and that's...
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's
Vanessa's a
allowed one
cuck queen.
So so in this case, this actually changes the way Liliana acts for the rest of the game and in the ending and stuff. Because I was like, Liliana, murder her. She's going to be a problem. She knows too much. And so, yeah, she slits her throat. And then I'm like, I kind of backtrack a little afterwards. I was like, well, I mean, I understand. You should probably feel a little bad. I know you two were friends. And she's like, no, you don't get to tell me to kill my best friend and then say I should feel bad about it. And this is how I've got to be. I've got to be the left hand of the divine. I have to be cruel. I have to be tough.
Wow.
That's fucked up.
Mm-hmm. So I made her psychotic.
Yeah, I did not, and she was like, yeah, I really would have killed her, but you've taught me that there are other ways, and it's great. I really feel connected to my faith again, and you're the best.
Oops.
Lots of different decisions we've made here. Any
Well,
other
I kind of-
companion corners people want to
I
squeeze
kind of
in?
did that deliberately because I was like, I know Vanessa's always going to choose the nice way, so I'm gonna
you're right.
take a little swerve.
You would think I'd want to try something different, but I don't. I just want to be the prettiest, nicest princess all the time.
I did. We talked about Varric last week, but I did do it this week and got to meet Bianca. And
What do you think of Bianca?
10 out of 10. Great lady, love her. Think she's fantastic. Would like to replace Varric in the party with her.
I agree.
I don't like Varric at all. I don't know what it is. Don't fucking
John,
like
do you
him.
still think Bianca's a Mary
No,
Sue?
Mary Sue, yeah. John, take a position
No
on whether or not
comment.
Bianca's a Mary Sue.
No comment.
I don't know that there's a term in the English language that I hate more than Mary Sue.
Yeah, it's really irritating, especially how it's misused.
It's misused.
You know?
I mean, listen, as it's like a lot of things. As an original concept when it first came out, sure, like, yeah.
Yes,
You
there
take a
is
character-
a genre of fan fiction in particular
Yes.
where people will write, the best, prettiest
self-insert.
princess, like I always
Yeah.
dream of being. Yeah, a self-insert where they're always like good at everything, except like maybe they're clumsy, but in a cute way, and whoever the author's crush is always has a crush on them.
But
They're always like, bumbling and yeah.
now it's used just to denigrate every female character. Like, listen,
Anyone that has a skill at all.
I don't
Yeah.
particularly
Mary Sue.
I don't particularly like the Star Wars sequels. I think that they're not good, other than the middle one, which still has a lot of problems. But Rey sucks at everything, and if you think she's a Mary Sue, you're stupid. You're a dumb person, and your brain doesn't work good. And that's just the truth.
Matt's truth bomb. Thank you, Matt.
I mean, I'm not even fucking kidding. It's insane.
No,
Ray
it is.
sucks. I
fully
love Ray.
agree.
Ray sucks. She doesn't do anything good in that whole series. She's super powerful and doesn't know how to use it, and that's an interesting character flaw, but is twisted into she's better than Luke, so she's a Mary Sue because I'm a fucking loser.
And there's also that weird thing where it's like somehow legitimate that a character would be skilled if they're the offspring of someone, which is not how life works. That's like eugenic shit.
Not even remotely, and you're absolutely right.
Can nerds just stop being little pee pants babies? Go get out, have a Gazzie or two. Stop peeing your pants over this kind of stuff.
Touch grass, Jim Banks.
Touch grass, yes, please.
All right, let's talk. So I I guess I didn't find it in the list of quests. I should have looked through the journal harder. I couldn't find the choose the next divine.
Oh,
quest.
really? They just approach you. Like
Yeah,
you
it's
will
not
go
really
back
a
to.
quest.
You'll teleport back to Skyhold, and they will just start talking to you.
I talked to both of them. I talked to Liliana about it. I talked to Cassandra about it. And I talked to
I think it's Mother Giselle that brings it to you.
Yeah. So I had it started. I just never got the point where I could actually choose.
I chose not to. I was like, I'm staying the fuck out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just in the conversation. So you're approached by someone from the Chantry, and they're like, we can't choose a divine. We'd really like Cassandra and Liliana to come because we think maybe one of them should be divine. And then you can
Girl,
talk to
they're
both
already
of them.
divine.
Oh, that's great, Matt. So you can go talk to both of them and basically say, hey, how do you feel about being divine? Do you want to be divine? What would you do as divine? Just kind of talk to them about the process, and then you can influence who becomes divine by basically just saying to them, I think you should be divine, or
I guess I didn't say that to either of them.
Yeah. And interestingly, you can also talk to Vivian and say, hey, why aren't you in the running to be divine? And she's like, oh, maybe I should be the divine. I'm the best.
I should have gone for that. Although I don't like her opinions on anything.
Yeah.
And we always get into arguments.
Mm-hmm. So I threw my support behind Liliana because she's pro-mage and pro-elf and very, very progressive.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we'll see at the ending who you all threw your support behind. If anyone.
Mm-hmm. And how.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had on here that... Sorry, go ahead, Johnny.
Oh, we're both approaching the same thing.
I had on here that we could talk about Jaws of Harkon if we wanted to, but we're sort of running out of time here.
Yeah, well, we'll talk.
Yeah,
I might play a bit of it. The only thing that I do want to mention is that it's a Solid Snake DLC. No, that's the Descent, right? That's the Solid Snake DLC where
Yeah,
you get to talk to
Jaws of. Oh yeah,
dwarf.
you can talk to David Hayter.
Yeah, the dwarf's like, the sound of my ass cheeks clapping, keep alerting the dark spot.
I think both those DLCs are really good. I think if you're looking for the best loot in the game, I would say at least unlock the Jaws of Hakan area and go close and fade rifts, because they're like level 21 fade rifts, and the drops at these rifts are the best items that I had for all of my party members came from this DLC.
So is that its own area?
It is. You unlock an area. It is southeast of Skyhold.
What's it called?
The Frostback Basin.
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah, I unlocked that. I didn't realize that was DLC.
Yeah,
it was a little too high level for me at the time, so I should go back.
It is the hardest area in the game. But the drops are super satisfying. It's got some cool enemies and some pretty funny side quests. So
the Descent has like a whole war table of its own, which was kind of.
It does, and I just could not be bothered with all that shit.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. And like there's a bunch of optional areas you can get into by collecting like gears and stuff that are littered around the environment, and I just could not be bothered with that either.
I did a lot of that
get
stuff.
Get me through this. Really? Was it satisfying?
No. So Maybe next time we'll have time to touch on the plot points a little bit if we feel like
Yeah.
it, in addition to Trespasser.
Yeah.
Now it's time for what everyone's been waiting for. Romance time.
Gazzie
That's right,
time.
we're recording
That,
this the day after Valentine's Day.
It's a Gazzie corner.
It's time
do
for
know
Gazzie
that-
Corner.
That Borok set and struck out with Sarah. So I'll just talk about, when we get to it, romancing Iron Bull as a dwarf thief, as I did the first time I played.
All right. I have been itching to hear from Matt about his romance with Dorian.
Have you considered that you might have bed bugs? Like,
No,
poison ivy?
bedbugs tend to bite the limbs and extremities, and that's not where I've been itching.
wow.
I've been itching in my heart.
Okay.
I mean, I already talked about his companion quest, so I guess really what it came down to was me continuing to go back and talk to Dorian in his little tower and flirting with him. And eventually, I think I got an option that was like, I just want to kiss you. And so, of course, now, just mental image for you all. My Inquisitor, Brawny Jandon, has an amazing handlebar mustache. And, of course,
We both do.
Dorian has an amazing, like, twirly mustache, like a cartoon villain.
Yeah.
Relic
Like Snidely Whiplash or whatever his name is. So
Like that guy from Lazy Town.
we rubbed mustaches. And after rubbing mustaches a few times, I went to talk to Dorian, and he said, I left a surprise for you in your chambers.
Oh.
And so, of course, I went straight to my chambers, and the surprise was a naked Dorian.
Wow.
And he was hanging dong right in the middle of the screen. No. The game, obviously...
I have a question about that. I have a question about dong. And I guess
Okay, well,
any
it's
and
a
all other
euphemism
genitals.
for penises, which you
Yeah,
have,
but
so you
do
should
they-
know.
When they're like creating these sex scenes, do you think they are actually animating the
Yes,
penetration?
100%.
I think it's like
I think
bumping
they
action
are.
figures up against each other.
I have a question
Yeah.
for you all. Since this is a fantasy world where the religion is Andrasteism, so which is to say there is no Judaism, there is no Christianity. Do you think
There's
all
other
of these men are
gods.
uncut?
I think it's possible that the Qunari do the cut.
I just had a Gazzie.
I feel like I'd expect an elf to be cut before I'd think of a Qunari.
Were you surprised that the FBI agent Nightingale in Alan Wake 2 was uncut?
Was I surprised? No. Was I interested? Yes.
Okay.
I mean, interested. You don't see many uncut penises in media,
Western media.
Western media,
American Western media.
American Western media.
So I went to my quarters and Dorian was there and we did, I mean, listen, I assume that all of the sex scenes are basically the same, to be honest. You definitely get a lot of butt shots of the Inquisitor and Dorian. And then they get in bed and they smush their weird little Ken doll faces together. And
Are they
cuts to
animating?
black.
Are they mocapping, like thrusting?
Obviously not.
Do you think, or mounting? Maybe not mounting another actor, but maybe like mounting a prop.
The game would
so they
be
knew
better
how to
if they
animate it.
were. You know, if the game would just show a little hole, I think we would all be a lot happier.
You actually
We need-
you can unlock that, but you have to collect eggs from all over and put them in a basket.
If you close all the fade rifts, you get a cum shot.
So Dorian, you know, the cutscene was pretty graphic for me. Dorian is the bottom. He does deep throat. So that's... Just waiting on all of you.
What?
I
Sorry.
don't have anything to add to that. I think it's great.
It
Everyone
was
should
beautiful.
enjoy
It was
their
good.
skills.
It was there's a lot of cutaways, but you do get a lot of like butt shots of the characters, which I thought was pretty funny. And
So were they doing butt stuff?
Well, no, I just mean that you get a lot of like them standing around. There's the before and after, and there was a lot of them like standing there
Was there
naked, but with the
thrusting?
camera from behind, so that you could see their butts.
That's what I want to know.
Was there thrusting?
No, no, it cut.
So, like Tommy Wiseau thrusting
It
from the
cut
room.
to
Yeah,
black.
exactly.
It did the Austin Powers thing where it cut away and a volcano erupted.
Right.
So,
I mean, that was kind of it. They talk. Dorian eventually, maybe not right away, but Dorian eventually talks about how he wants to go back to Deventer and Dorian talks about how he wants to go back to Deventer and try to change things because it's such a a terrible system. And talks a lot about like, I would hate to leave you. And I said some things like, well, I could come with you, so here was a big problem that I kind of had overall with the ending of this game, which is that I felt like it never gave me the option to be like, what if the Inquisition is over once we defeat Corypheus?
Then you couldn't play the DLC.
Okay, I guess that's great. Like, but the way I'm playing the game, what if I don't want to be the leader of the fucking world? Like, I'm just a guy who got a glowy hand, and it's fine that I've had to take over this organization. I get it, but like, why does the Inquisition have to continue? What's the deal with the Inquisition continuing once we've set out and met our goals?
Well, let's talk about that in a few minutes.
Tell me about your dwarfy love with Iron Bull, Johnny.
Well, Iron Bull, I can't remember the name for it because it's been 10 years. But Iron Bull basically is like, so you like me, huh? Well, there's kind of like this Dom sub thing we like to do in the Qunari. It's optional, and certainly you don't have to do it, but would you be interested in that? And I'm like, yeah, sure, buddy. He's like, cool. And so, like, you start smooching, and he's like my big Dom. And then cut to, this is, before the finale of the game. You're in your bedroom, and he's like, now you will take the Qunari. And so he's about to do me. It is very implied your dwarf is the bottom, and Iron Bull is riding you. And then the door swings open, and Josephine's like, oh, Inquisitor, I was wondering, oh my God! and then Leliana's coming in and says, Inquisitor, how does that even work? And like everyone just starts piling into the bedroom as you're being fucked by Iron Bull. And it's just a comedy of errors.
Wow.
And is the best sex scene of any game I've ever played because it's ridiculous.
Amazing.
Yeah. And everyone's like commenting on how the heck a dwarf could bottom. Like everyone's wondering about the physics of it. And that's great.
Why? That doesn't make sense.
Why? What do you mean?
Why would a dwarf not be able to bottom a Qunari?
Because he's got a very large penis, I think is the joke.
Maybe your dwarf had a very large anal cavity.
Yeah,
It's not that weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
I wish that would have been the end. Maybe that should have been a slider in the character creator was like how
Anal
much
cavities.
How much room you have. Yeah.
Isn't that in Cyberpunk? I assume that's in Cyberpunk.
Don't they say that
No,
people have
only-
like 6
only your
feet of
dom.
intestines inside them?
Yeah, but you
It's
can't.
way more than that, isn't it?
I don't know.
there's a lot of. I just think it's a good scene. I thought it was very funny. I like how everyone just keeps walking out and you getting fucked by Iron Bull. I really liked that. I thought that was charming and fun.
Well,
that's it.
I'd also like to talk about romance with Dorian and romance with Iron Bull, but in a very special context, which I like to call adorable.
Aww.
That's their couple portmanteau name. The first time I played this game, this happened to me organically, and since then I have made it happen by making Dorian and Iron Bull be in the party together all the time. But if you don't romance either of them and just hang out with them, they will fall in love. They start by being very antagonist with each other. Iron Bull hates Tevinter. Dorian hates Iron Bull. But also, if you bring Iron Bull with you when you first meet Dorian in the Chantry, Iron Bull will say, "Oh, be careful. The cute ones are always trouble." So there's some initial attraction, at least on Iron Bull's side, right from the beginning. After they have sort of bickered with each other for a while, Iron Bull starts teasing Dorian by saying he's going to flex for him and that he wants Dorian to be behind him in battle so he can enjoy the view, all of these kinds of things. And eventually you get a dialogue where Iron Bull says to Dorian, "Hey, you left something in my room last night." And Dorian's like, "Wow, you're really not subtle, huh?" And he goes, "Did you leave it there so you'd have to have an excuse to come back and get it?" And
No, the old George Costanza.
And then Dorian's like, "No." And Iron Bull says, "Well, my door is going to be open." And Dorian says, "Well, if your door is open, I may or may not come." And Iron Bull goes, "Speak for yourself." So there's your Gazzie talk that you've been waiting for, Matt. And then you can go talk to Iron Bull and Dorian after you hear this dialogue and be like, "So, Dorian, huh?" And Iron Bull's like, "Yeah, he's really fun, and I don't know exactly what's going on, but I've never been with a mage before, and once he got so excited, he set the curtains on fire." And Dorian is a little bit more hesitant to talk about it, but he says, "Yeah, I don't know where it will lead, but we're just spending time together."
Honestly, that's a
is
pretty
their
interesting,
beautiful love story.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting couple there.
Yeah. It really takes a while to develop. They bicker with each other a lot and fight with each other at first, but they come to a grudging respect that leads to a friendly friendship and something more.
Some Gazzies.
Aw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Speaking of Gazzies, I have my own romance, as you know, with Solus.
Ugh.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about this. I assume
I
it's going to
hate
involve
this. I don't know why.
him exploring your fade or something.
It's going to be the hottest love scene you've ever heard of.
Ugh,
So-
boy.
gross bald head. Bald people are gross.
After the Temple of Mythal, Solus is like, "Hey, let's go somewhere special, just me and you." And he took me out to this beautiful waterfall. And he's like, "Yeah, you learned a lot about elves at the Temple of Mythal, huh?" And I'm like, "I sure
You
did."
are an elf.
Yep. And he says, you know those facial tattoos that you Dalish like to do, it's actually a slave mark that showed that you were a slave of a particular elven god. And but I know a spell that can take it right off your face if you want. And I was like, well, I do love Mythal and my traditions, but also a big part of Dalish tradition is never being enslaved again, so okay, you can take my tattoos right off my face. His hands glow, and he reached out gently and cupped my face, and he sucked the ink right off my elfy forehead.
What?
How many
And-
Gazzies did he have doing that?
Probably a lot. And then
He removed all the letters until it just said AMA.
Yep. Then he swept me into his arms and kissed me. and then looked me deep in the eyes and said, "I think we should break up."
What?
And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, this has gone way too far. We can't be together. Goodbye." And he stormed off. And I was like, "You took my face tattoo and now you're breaking up with me?" So I ran right back
Just
to
follow.
Skyhold.
He's just following the bro code.
I chased him down. Burst into that stupid mural room where he's always painting his stupid murals, and I was like, "Bro, what the fuck?" And he says, "I can't explain to you why we can't be together, but if we're both alive after we stop Corypheus, then I'll tell you everything. I promise."
Hi, babe.
Yeah, babe.
Stop freaking out,
Yeah.
okay? Babe, come on.
Yeah, dude, babe.
We had
Brolas
some
here.
good Gazzies. That doesn't mean that we're in love.
Look, we had good times.
Listen, we got one great night together, babe.
We had a
Maybe
great
that's
night.
all we get.
We had a great night where I sucked the tattoos off your face, and that's it.
Just be thankful for the time that we spent together, babe.
Yeah. So, broken-hearted, my little Inquisitor ran around Skyhold, didn't know what to do. I even tried going to Cullen and advancing that Cullen friendship.
Wow.
And then I was
you
like-
you were on the
It
rebound.
was. And I was like, "Hey, Cullen, are you single?" And Cullen's like, I heard you're already with someone, and I don't want to step on any toes. And
Oh.
I'm like,
I
"No."
like imagine what you'd look like if you had a strong father.
And then Vanessa's like, "Babe, Colin, babe.
Yeah.
Solus and I are basically over,
Yeah.
okay?"
He's like, "Oh no, I'm pretty sure you're still in love." So yeah, that's the end of the Solus romance. He does not put out. There are no butt shots. He just sucks your face with his hands, and that's it. So after that, there's nothing to do but go to the Temple of Mythal and get that dragon.
Or, well, Morgan's like, "Well, I don't exactly know. I just know that there's something we have to do there, and you have to be with me." And we get there, and she's like, "All right, so according to this, if we do this ritual right, we can summon Mythal and get her help with this." Matt, what did you think of this scene?
Well, I feel like we discussed a lot of the points at the beginning of the quest log here. Like,
You summon Mythal, and surprise!
Oh, it's Flemeth.
It's Flemeth.
Whoa.
and in our version, Morgan is the one that drank from the pool, so she is enthralled, I guess, to Mythal or to Flemeth. And so, of course, she's like, I honestly, okay. I don't know what it is. And you all know me, and you know that I've got a big, kind of have a big hate on for the idea of people like having big crushes on animated characters, right? Like, I don't know what it is, but it just fucking makes me
You think
crazy.
I'm just disgusting. You think I'm the worst.
He has a hate on for John.
That's not true, John.
I
I
hate-
love you so much.
hate John.
I love you, John. I love you, John.
Oh, let's move on.
But he loves you, but despises everything about you.
He loves you, but he hates what you love.
I don't have I just don't have a lot of respect for it. But I'm a hypocrite because something about Morgan. There's something about Morgan. And so this scene where she's talking to Flemeth, and this is what it is. She's so angry that her little animated nose is all scrunched up. And I've never been more attracted to any animated character in my life than I was at Morgan pissed off at Flemeth because she drank from the well and is now enthralled to her mother, who she hates because her mother wants to steal her body. Now, admittedly, she's like, "You were going to replace my consciousness with your own." And Flemeth is like, "No, baby, darling girl, you sweet, stupid,
Hey, babe.
you sweet,
Bad.
stupid idiot. I was never going to do that." I didn't get any of the dialogue that Vanessa got about Flemeth, like it just being Mythal that moved on to the next kid.
Maybe that was just my interpretation.
But
I had a totally different experience.
Flemeth did say, like, you were never in any danger. I was never going to hurt you. And so even though, like, I feel like it's a big retcon, because I feel like in the first game it was very clear that this is what they intended. Now they've gone back 2 games later and decided, like, well, we like to reuse characters, and Flemeth, we're not going to make her. Now she's
like, Flemeth is super popular as a character.
So she, they hash it out. And she tells Morrigan, like, you have the power to defeat Corypheus's dragon by being a dragon.
What?
And it's great.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
It's funny how, like, I feel like they very clearly wrote the game for people that did not carry their saves over. And the carry save people are afterthoughts. Does anybody else feel like that? Like, the plot of the game, it makes a lot more sense that Morrigan turns into the dragon than it does that a random dragon shows up.
I carry through my save, and I still got the same scene as you because I made different choices than Vanessa.
That's fair. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's the Temple of Mythal. We leave. It's really hilariously short. It's 10 minutes. You go to the temple. You walk up to the statue. Flemeth shows up and says, "Surprise!
Yeah,
I'm Mythal." And also, Morrigan, you can turn into a dragon. And Morrigan does a lot of just super cute nose scrunch stuff. And then that's it. That's the end of it.
Did you have to fight Morgan?
No, Morgan's on our side. Morgan's like, okay, so now I have the power to face off with that dragon, and all you have to do is kill Corypheus.
Well, guess who had to fight a dragon? Me. I told you that a dragon just shows up.
You have to fight it. You have to fight it at the end a little bit.
No, I had to fight this dragon that showed up at the Temple of Mythal.
Oh. Can I talk about my Temple of Mythal experience?
Yeah.
Like, I got there and I went to summon Mythal.
At the Temple of Mythal.
Well, hold on. So, like, I was like, let's summon Mythal now. And this little wet-looking creature comes out and says, I'm this. And then it's like, oh no, it's Gazzie. and then I got a game over.
What?
It's weird.
Yeah, so
what happens when you don't romance anyone?
Didn't you romance Scout Harding? I just forgot to ask you about it.
I tried to. I flirted with her at every opportunity, and then I must have missed my shot at getting it in because I went to talk to her before the final mission. And she's like, "Well, it's the end. Good luck. Let's talk after." And it's like,
handshake.
We still got time. Babe.
Yeah, you can still suck the tattoos off my face.
Come on, babe.
All right, Doom upon the world. I was surprised the first time I played this how short the ending mission is.
It's so fucking short.
Yeah.
I don't
Super short.
Matthew, I don't mind short ending set pieces at all. I don't want it to be a 6-hour thing. I get so mad when it's a 6-hour thing.
I mean, I thought it would be an hour or 2 hours at least. It's not. It's 15 minutes.
It's like 20 Yeah, it's like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we head back to, I guess we're back at the Temple of Sacred Ashes. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
But
Sure.
Corypheus flies it into
just,
the air.
It's just part of Skyhold.
Oh,
He
is
starts
it?
ripping apart. Yeah, it's parts of Skyhold.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that somehow.
Because he comes and Josephine's like, or Morgan or Josephine's like, well, I guess he didn't want to wait. Because you're all planning
I don't think
on how to find him.
That's not what I got.
No,
That's what I got.
He goes back to the Temple of Sacred Ashes and like opens the sky rift again.
I don't know. I don't know. Probably Vanessa's correct there, I'm sure. But for me, I was at Skyhold and they were like, like we're going to go attack Corypheus and what's his face? What's the guy's
Cullen?
name? Cullen's like, well, we don't have any troops to send with you. And I was like, well, I don't need the troops. I'm going it alone. Like, it was not at Skyhold.
Oh, for me, it was that we were talking about it and trying to prepare things, and suddenly Corypheus is there attacking, ripping apart Skyhold.
I don't
Maybe I took-
think
I don't think so.
Johnny.
I think you're wrong, bud. Like, I
And
don't mean to
they're
be
like,
rude,
well,
but I don't mean to.
Because Morgan said, I guess he didn't want to wait.
Yeah, he doesn't wait because he goes back to the Temple of Sacred Ashes and opens up the sky, and then you're like, oh, I have to go there.
Is that
It's
what-
not
Maybe
at
I wasn't paying
Skyhold.
enough attention. Okay. I could have just not been paying enough attention.
Yeah. And we know that because Skyhold's fine afterwards. Like, it's not ripped
Yeah,
apart.
that's true.
So,
Did you guys make any changes to Skyhold? Were you
Oh, yeah.
into
Put up some-
decorating?
Yeah.
I put a cool throne with like teeth and a tongue.
Oh, I did that one too.
Yeah.
I put some like Androstian decorations to try to win people over, and fancy Orlesian decorations and stuff.
Oh, you mean religious propaganda?
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause my elf is not Androstian, so I'm like, I better put some of this shit up to like calm down these religious people. So we head to the Temple of Sacred Ashes, and Corypheus does make it fly. And he's like, it's me, Corypheus. I'm finally going to destroy you, like I've been trying to do the whole time. And I'm going to find another way back into the Fade. And I'm going to be a god, blah, blah, blah. His whole normal stuff.
I think Corypheus is generally pretty lame for a villain. I think he looks real stupid.
Yep, I love
but
his face.
oh boy, do I love hearing him talk. He is such a deep baritone.
I agree. He looks
Love it.
stupid.
I love the shards of red lyrium in his
I
face.
think
and
that
stuff.
looks cool.
No, I hate that shit.
I think his design is mostly dumb, but I think he's got a cool, like, ugly, craggy look. I don't know. His character, I think I don't like.
No, I
He's
think
not
he's
evil
boring.
enough.
It's like the concept is cool. The concept is there, but like in practice, it's just really boring. Where he just every time he walks on the screen, he's like, "I went to heaven, and heaven was empty, and now I will be God." And it's fucking boring. Like, get a fucking shtick or something. I don't know. Twirl your mustache. Do something.
I want to see him, like, murder. I know he murdered the Divine at the beginning.
Who cares?
But I want to see him murder other characters. Like, I want him to be more of a threat. Like, I want him to show a casual disregard for other people's lives. I don't feel like he really does that.
He does
He's
in
boring.
that future that I went to.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
So
All right.
this is a 3-part fight. Part 1, Corypheus. We fight Corypheus.
Yeah.
He has twin laser beams that he's shooting around.
I think I was over leveled for this fight, to be honest with you, because
I
I
definitely
me too,
was.
for
beat
sure.
the dick off of Corypheus, and then I beat the dick off the
Yeah.
dragon, and then I beat the dick off of Corypheus. And he was like, "Where's my dick? I can't Gazzie anymore. My dick's gone."
I was level 19, and yeah, it was tricky, I would say.
I was 22 when I fought Corypheus.
I was 26, and that was
Oh my
definitely
God.
over-leveled. So we fight Corypheus as himself. Then his dragon swoops in, and he's like, "Oh, my dragon's gonna get you!" But surprise, we have our own dragon. Either the one that I won over by fighting it, or the one that you guys won over by just being its friend.
I loved this
Morgan,
actually.
Morgan the
Yes, I
dragon.
loved Morgan. You know it's Morgan. She shows up. She fucking knocks this thing out of the air. You get a lot of like the Morgan dragon and Corypheus's dragon, the red lyrium dragon, Corypheus's dragon fighting each other in the sky. And it's cool. There's like good shots of it. There's one great shot of Morgan dragon like flying straight up into the sky towards the rift, and the red lyrium dragon is chasing her. And then she just like does the fighter jet thing of just like stopping dead in the air and turning around and plummeting back towards the red lyrium dragon and just tearing its fucking head off. It's so good.
I got the same cutscene with my dragon. I guess it's
Your fake
possible
dragon.
that my
Your bullshit
dragon was
dragon.
Flemeth, but they never said that. But we know Flemeth can turn into a dragon, so maybe that was the
It's
deal.
true.
Yeah.
So Morgan does get knocked out of the air eventually, and you see her like bleeding on the floor.
Yeah, honestly,
And
I
that's when you have
thought
to
she
fight
might
the
be
dragon.
dying. Like she's clearly like gut wounded. She's bleeding out of her stomach.
Maybe she's got one of those kitty collars like we got.
That probably was it. So after she's knocked the dragon down, we fight it, and
It's at
kill
like
the
half
dragon.
health, by the way. At least
Yeah.
for me, it was at like half health, and I was kind of disappointed because I was like, I've killed so many dragons, so like, what's this? I don't care. Give me a full-fledged dragon. I kill dragons like I have breakfast. Sometimes.
Easy peasy. And after that, we run to the top of the structure, and it's time to fight Corypheus again. But this time, he can't resurrect himself. Again,
was
it's
pretty
a pretty straightforward, easy fight, I found.
Yep.
Well, in mine, I definitely had to stop, like go into tactical mode and stop, like everyone rushing him, especially when he had his lasers out, and kind of hide behind pillars and
Yeah,
things like
he
that.
jumps onto like a pillar at one point where you can't target him. Like my mages were hitting him, which was nice, but otherwise,
I had Varric hitting
I was
him.
just running in a circle waiting for him to come down. I had Dorian and Sarah hitting him, and Iron Bull and the Inquisitor just kind of, I don't know, making out on the battlefield. What the fuck else are they supposed to do?
So once we get him down to health, he is sort of struggling, and the Inquisitor walks up to him and is like, "Hey, your dream is to go physically into the Fade, and I'm gonna make your dream come true." And then just like opens a riff in his body, I guess, and blasts
that what
him
happened?
straight into the Fade. It seemed to be to me.
I felt like
But
he
he drops
sent
his
him
ball.
into the Fade, and I was kind of frustrated by that. Like, why would you send him into the Fade and not just murder him?
I think you murder him by sending him to the Fade and like rip him apart. but I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I guess maybe
So,
just to be extra sure he's gone. I don't know.
He does drop his swizzle ball there, the ball with the stripes, and Solus is like, "No, it's broken." He's very sad. And I'm
Yeah.
like, we can don't worry, buddy, we can put it back together. He's like, "No, you can't."
I really wanted this
Just realized-
swizzle ball.
I think maybe the reason I like Corypheus's voice so much, it sounds like he's using like the RoboCop filter,
Yeah.
where it sounds like it's coming out of a speaker.
You better do what I say, or there will be trouble.
You're just a thief. You're just a man that was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Thank you for not smoking.
So yeah, Solus is sad about the swizzle ball. You hear your other friends that weren't in your party calling for you, and head down some stairs, and then everyone's standing there except where's Solus? Oh, he's gone. My Inquisitor was not happy about this. He had super promised to tell me why he dumped me after Corypheus was dead, and guess what? He didn't tell me shit.
Before all this started, Solus did say, "Hey, just whatever happens next, I just wanted you to know I respect you."
Oh, yeah. He said to me, "I want you to know that what we have is real."
Oh,
Cool.
you're like,
That's a weird
what the
thing
fuck
to
does
say.
that mean? He's like, no, it's like, it's real.
Yeah.
And there's like stuff there, but I gotta go.
It's real, but I've got to go backpack in the Himalayas with my parents' money for a few months.
Yeah.
And I don't want
Actually,
to
it was-
tie you
I was-
down when I go to Bangkok and sleep with some
Exactly.
sex workers.
I was totally in love with you, babe, but I just need to find myself for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe see other people.
I just thought you'd look really good without the tattoo, and it turned out like that was doing a lot. It was covering up a lot, and what's going on here now? Like, no.
So I just want to introduce you to this concept of foundation and like color shading.
Should
Anyway,
like do a little makeup, maybe.
Babe, if what we had was real and you loved me, you'll just let me go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about ethical polyamory. Oh,
I just have to sow my royal oats.
I have this book you should read called The Ethical Slut.
So,
I hope that's not a real book, Jim.
It is.
It is a real book.
So everyone, sans Solus, heads back to Skyhold to have a little celebration party.
Exactly.
Yay!
Everyone sans Matthew, happy Valentine's Day.
So here, Matthew's like, yeah, I killed Corypheus, but I haven't finished the game yet. Like, what? There's like a minute left. You just talk to everyone in that room, and the game's over.
Yeah, and go to bed.
I was busy.
So we go back, we talk to everyone in the room. Everyone's like, great job, real good work.
Everyone's like, definitely I've got my own things going on, but I'm going to hang out here for like a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Which is
there's
to
any
say,
DLC
we can still
you wanna
complete our
do-
side quests.
Yep.
It's really dumb.
Yep. Like Cassandra and Liliana are like, yeah, we got to go choose the next divine, but we're going to hang out here a little bit. And Dorian's like, I'm going back to Tevinter, but first I'm going to stay here.
Till I'm done with you, he said to me. And I said to
Oh.
him, till I'm done with you. And then we smooched.
Aw.
Ooh, that's romantic.
I really enjoyed
Yeah.
my relationship with Dorian. Dorian's delightful, and also the whole, we talked about it when we talked about his character quests, but the whole like my parents hate me because I'm gay thing was pretty like affecting, at least, you know?
Well, my Inquisitor went back to her cold, cold bed alone.
Yeah, mine too. And Jim's, I guess.
Mine too.
Wow.
Yeah.
A bunch of
Matthew-
But not out of
Gazzies
resignation.
losers.
I went back to my bed with confidence and self-assuredness.
Yeah, we don't need any man or woman.
Yeah.
My
great on our
heart is
own.
broken.
We're gonna get drunk by ourselves and
I
sing
mean-
Celine Dion songs.
Bronny Janin doesn't need a man or a woman, but Bronny Janin was very happy to go back to his room with the love of his life, you know?
Aw. But you know what? We haven't seen the last of Solus because we get one little scene.
We get a really
Ooh, little
credits?
stinger. Sting, sting,
stupid
sting,
plot
sting, sting,
twist.
sting.
I love this plot twist, and I won't.
I think it's pretty dope too.
Yeah, Matthew, it's cool that you don't like it, but let us enjoy it.
No, I won't. I hate the fact that you spend this game with this character who's like learning more about the elven histories, and it's like, wow, this is really fascinating. And at the end of the game, it's like, actually, I knew all of this because I'm Dreadwolf.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's the mythical Fen Harel, right?
So he was just playing
And-
the whole time? Like he was just bullshitting me?
Yeah.
He was playing the
Why?
whole
He
time.
was actually
Why
after the
was he
anchor
doing
for
that?
himself.
He had to sit there.
Play trespasser, motherfucker.
He had to sit
Play
there.
trespasser, you'll
He
find
had
out.
to sit there and be like, "Oh, this history of the elves is really interesting to me," because he knew it already because he lived it.
Yep. And the whole time when he was telling me, like, oh, I saw in the Fade the truth about the elves, it was this and that. He didn't see shit in the Fade. He
Yeah.
knows all about it. So
So
we
in
have a
this
scene.
scene-
Well, also, what? Yeah, you don't. That's not the whole scene. He doesn't just
Yeah.
show up to the camera and be like, "Did you know that I'm the
The whole
Dread
time
Wolf?"
I've been
I'm
the
sorry.
Dreadwolf.
I forgot. He's like, did you know that I'm the Dreadwolf? And also, ever since I left your party, I've been Gazzieing constantly.
He
He Gazzies on
All
Flemeth.
Gazzies all the
Yep.
time.
No, it was a
He
friend
shows up
hug. That
in
was a
the,
friend hug.
That was a
Illuvian
Gazzie.
pathways where Flemeth is
Yeah.
hanging out. And she sees him and she's like, "Oh, my old friend Fenharal, what's up?" And he's like, "Oh, the swirly crystal broke. I'm super bummed." And she's like, "I'm sorry, buddy." And then he says, "Well, I got to do some stuff now." And she seems very sad but resigned to it. She's like, "Yep, I know you do." And he takes her in his arms and turns her to stone.
Gasms.
Yep. And he's just
No, my favorite
stonifies
character.
like, "Yep." She's
Flemeth is your favorite
Flemeth
character?
is your favorite
Yeah.
character?
Yeah, I've said this many times.
The old
I
lady
love
that
Flemeth.
murders
Are
her
you-
children? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Are you a psycho?
Are you a
Yeah,
fucking
you're like Christian Bale from American Psycho.
so he
Canadian
turns
Psycho. That's
Flemeth
Johnny.
/ Mythal, yep, turns her into stone, and then
There's the episode title.
and then he turns to the camera
Psycho.
and he says,
That's amazing.
"Why have I done this? What are my plans? Find out in the upcoming DLC, Trespasser, next time on Square Roots."
No, next week it's Bayonetta episode
Can we-
1.
Nope.
Hold on.
No,
can
the
we,
listeners
can we
wrote
make
in and they
some-
said next week is Bayonetta episode 1. We can't tell the listeners
Sorry,
no.
Matthew, your signal's breaking up. We can't hear what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hold on. Can we take a minute to just do a quick little riff on Canadian Psycho? Like John, instead of listening to Huey Lewis and the
Bare
News, he's
Naked
listening to
Ladies.
Rush.
Their album with 1
It's
week
the
on
Tragically Hip.
it. No, it has. I fucking will not support Rush or Tragically Hip. Don't put words in my
Wow,
mouth.
really?
Bare Naked
Yeah.
Ladies.
All right,
Whoa.
so
Yeah,
John
Bare Naked
loves
Ladies.
Rush and
BNL.
Tragically Hip.
Ugh.
Instead of snorting coke, he's just doing lines of maple syrup. Just licking it up.
1 week was the synthesis of their comedy rock and their pop, and really, I think, brought BNL to a new level.
He's really into the kids in the hall too. He has like posters of them on the wall.
Who's not into the kids in the hall? All right, quick
they're
question. My understanding of the twist ending, which I could be wrong, but I thought that Flemeth was going to do something, let's say kill Solus, Dreadwolf, and that then he turned the tables on her.
I kind of thought that too the first time I played it. The second time, I'm like, she seems to be. That's why she says I'm sorry, and he is too.
Yeah,
and-
well, why would she say I'm sorry to him if he's gonna kill her? It doesn't make sense.
Because she knows he has to do something really tough.
Yeah.
All
Like,
right.
I'm sorry it has to come to this.
Well, we'll
I
play
mean,
the
that's not how I
Trespasser.
understood it. Like the way that I saw it was that Flemeth / Mythal was like,
yeah.
I'm going to have to kill you, and then instead he killed her.
I think
that is the
it's a
first time
valid
I watched it.
interpretation.
Yeah, that is definitely the
Yeah.
impression I got. The second time, I sort of saw it from the way Vanessa and Jim see it. But we'll play Trespasser and find out. I've never played it, so it'll be.
Oh,
I'm
I had never
Baby
played it
Flick.
before this playthrough.
And we're doing that as
And
a
it's
bonus
nice.
episode next month
No.
because
Matthew.
No.
we're moving straight
It's
into
next
Bayonetta.
No.
On Square Roots.
Boo, I have to play
Next
more
week
of
on
this
Square Roots.
game.
One more week. You can do it, buddy.
Yeah. You'll like it.
It'll be worth
Honestly,
it.
this game's really fun and I like it a lot, so
There's a couple frustrating puzzles in Trespasser, but otherwise it's pretty good.
Yeah, and
I
they're
love
optional,
turning
I think.
invisible and then getting behind somebody and stabbing them in the back.
Like Dorian.
It's so fucking.
Oh.
Do you think
No,
that your
like Don-
Inquisitor
not like
ever
Dorian. Dorian's
turns
the love of my
invisible
life. What are you
and
talking
sneaks
about?
up behind Dorian? Come on, if you could turn invisible,
Stabs him in
I'd
the
totally be
butt? Is that
sneaking
what
up
you're
behind
saying?
him. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a goose
I
in
don't
him.
know how consensual that sounds. So
You have to talk about it
Well,
beforehand.
according to John, it's fine. According to John, it's fine as long as you're flirting.
What?
It's fine to touch other people if you're being flirty.
I'm out on this conversation. I don't.
Ah.
Speaking of being out, what are you squarely against? Matt.
Oh, I went and talked to everybody, and then Dorian came back to my room with me and was like, "Smooch, smooch, I love you. I'm gonna go back to Venter, but not right now because you're the best." And you know what? I liked the romance that I had between the Inquisitor and Dorian. It was. I don't know how all the other romances go. This is the first time I've finished this game. But it was good. Like, it was sweet and charming and affecting. And I really liked it. So I'm roundly for romancing Dorian. Vanessa.
Interestingly enough, I'm squarely against romancing Solus. How dare he?
Oh.
First of all, this whole time we were dating, he never put out. He was the Dread Wolf. He sucked the tattoos off my face. He is just toxic. He is a walking red flag. My people hate the Dread Wolf. They're always like, Dread Wolf, take you. You know what he didn't? He didn't take me. He didn't take me anywhere except to Sadville when he broke my heart.
Vanessa's mad that Solus did not take her to Gazzie Town.
All that said, I actually think it's really interesting that you can romance this character who turns out to be this completely other thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm roundly for it from a narrative perspective. I'm squarely against it from a heart perspective. Jim, what are you squarely against?
I'll say that I'm roundly for the Stinger with Solus being the Dread Wolf, but I am squarely against the ending of the main campaign. I feel like the game earned a big epic climax to the main story, and then the presentation just fell super flat.
It's like 15 minutes. It's ridiculously short.
Yeah, it could have been like a big set piece and big stirring narrative conclusions with character moments pepper. I just felt like maybe the direction of the maybe it was a budget thing. I don't know.
I feel like
but
they
it
ran
felt
out
like
of time.
they could have.
Do you think?
Yeah, they could have done so much
Do
more.
you think
with
that
this.
if you had not done the side quests where you, I don't know, put down the Red Templars and all that, and chase down the Venatori, whatever, in all these different
Venatori.
areas, that they would have all shown up, and like you would have had to fight your way through them?
Yeah, maybe
That would be
like
cool.
there should have been some. There's just so many. It felt like there were so many loose
Like, what was the
ends.
payoff
And
of doing all of this stuff when at the end of the game you just kind of walk up to this guy and stab him?
Yeah, those everything all those big missions that you did with the Venatori and the Grey Wardens and all that stuff, like that should have laddered up to something really satisfying at the end, and it just really never.
Well, you have all these areas
materialized,
like the Exalted Plains and the Emerald Graves where like you're basically shutting down his army before the end game, but it doesn't seem like
Maybe
any of that
that's-
actually matters. Like, it's just side content.
Yeah, maybe that's
for
not a
funsies.
good. Honestly, maybe that's not a good thing. Like, it almost feels like they fragmented the story so much between all the different areas of the game.
Well,
and
what
all
I'm
these
saying
little
is,
side
like,
things
I
you
don't
could
think
do.
it matters if you did that stuff or not. Like, how did that matter?
It definitely doesn't matter in the context of the conclusion of the game. It doesn't factor in
Then
at
what's
all.
the fucking point?
Like,
Why did I do all that?
exactly. Yeah, that's the thing.
Make
It's
the
like
numbers go
it
up.
doesn't pay off. It doesn't. Yeah, you make the numbers
Yeah.
go up. It doesn't pay off narratively.
I had
is what I'm
120
saying. So,
power when I ended the game. Cool.
yeah.
You don't even need
Yeah, there's
power
not-
to
it doesn't-
unlock the last mission. So what's the fucking point?
Yeah. I think it's just not as satisfying as it could have been, and I think they could have done a lot more with like just making it seem like you were doing something super epic and you were this world-changing thing that you were fixing, and it just didn't feel that way. It felt like a substandard level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it felt like an in-between mission between two bigger story points.
I feel like a lot of games feel like that to me. I think Mass Effect 2 is like the only one that comes to mind where I was really like, they nailed it. Like that was a great
Except
ending.
for
Yeah.
the toddler skeleton.
I love the skeleton.
I fucking love the Terminator, baby. It's the best. It may be one of the top
Oh,
5 things
yeah.
that's ever happened in video games. When you have to kill a
I
Terminator
remember
baby.
when my party characters were falling through the environment in that.
It's funny that you mentioned that. It reminds me of Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, there's some glitchiness in that game too. Who's next? John? What are you squarely against?
I guess I'm roundly for the. I like the sex comedy kind of cutscene you get with Iron Bull. That it's not serious; it's just fun. It definitely was a time where I was like, oh, this game gets me. I like ridiculousness. I don't like romance and flowers. I like a sex farce where everyone's walking in and wondering how it's physically possible for my Inquisitor to bottom for Iron Bull.
I like to Gazzie and then have a pancake. John Brandon.
Yeah, pretty much. All right.
And now I'm
Let's-
hungry.
Put that on John's tombstone.
Pancake. Sounds good.
He gazzed. He snacked.
I like crepes though. I'm more of a crepe guy. They're less bready.
I agree.
Okay. Vanessa, any emails or are we moving on to Patreon?
I have no emails, and I would like someone to tell me, please, what is a Patreon?
Jim can tell us about a Patreon.
Yes, please.
Sure. So on patreon.com/Square Roots Podcast, that's where all of our great bonus content lives. Last month we did Vanessa's Taskmaster special,
Chore
our
Chief.
obligatory Vanessa bonus. Chore Chief. Yeah, thank you. This month we will be releasing. Can we just say what it is?
Yeah,
we'll be
we already
releasing
said
a
it.
very special.
Oh, we have.
We'll be releasing a commentary for Roger Corman's Fantastic Four film. That is on YouTube, so stay tuned for that. We've also got some great level up content, some great Square Roots versus content. I'm planning something really fun for us next month. That'll be super duper
Don't
fun.
forget to check out the Square Roots YouTube page where we will be back this week for sure.
We will. For sure.
Continue playing Final Fantasy
Playing-
VI.
And you can, like I said, you can find all that great content at patreon.com/Square Roots Podcast. Have access to all that content at the $3 subscription tier. At the $5 tier, you get access to all that content, plus the ability to vote on games that we play on the show. We just wrapped a vote. Our next game, actually after next week's episode, which is a conclusion of Dragon Age Inquisition, we're going to be starting Bayonetta, which should be a
Terrible
fun little series. I think, John, 3 episodes
Yeah,
for
3
that.
episodes.
probably?
And they're going to be
Yeah.
low, like each episode's going to take 3-4 hours of gameplay, which I think is perfect.
Yes. Pretty good. So yeah, stay tuned for that Bayonetta series. We've never done a game like Bayonetta for the show, so that'll be fun. Like I said, you can do that at the $5 tier. Another benefit of being a patron, no matter what tier you subscribe at or how much money you give us every month, we like to thank some of our patrons on the show personally. So I will kick us off this week by thanking Angel. It makes me uncomfortable to hear my name read on a podcast. Wedge Coon, Cameron Showy, T. Bumpkins wishes everyone a Happy New Year from Tickle Crab Islandu, Jaybird, Worked Muffin, friend of DeSoto, Aaron O'Toole, Eduardo Franco, Saul Wagner, Saul Wagner? Is that how we should say that? Saul Wagner?
That's how I do it, but I don't know.
Samu Mitchell and Cyril the Wolf.
I'd like to thank Loafing Around, respectable name, Citrus C, Ryan, Andy Best, Diamonds are dragon poop. Puck you miss. Keysby Knight, Isaac Wright, Butts on Parade, Huxley Iguana, and Florian Jonas Kramer.
I'd like to thank Andy Smith, Rachel, David Green, Brian Pitt, Eric Pitkameni, Ben, the Ben with the Hat, Mostly Rational Person, Tracy the Borg Queen, Chris Ward Childress, Hexagon, and Tracy with an I.
I'd like to thank Chad, the Rootin' Cowboy, Explosive Diarrhea, Edarul, John Scala, William Westgard, Orcus the Great, Bree Girth, Mike, Erica Garby, Mike Marno, Anthony Cruz, Chris Penyak, Anthony Lerma, and Nick.
All right, listeners, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to send us an email, you can reach us at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come join our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or find us on Blue Sky. It's squarerootspod.bsky.social.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, wherever you listen to podcasts. iTunes isn't really a thing anymore. I guess it's just Apple Podcast. Thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on Twitter as Beige on Beige and on YouTube. Links are in the show notes.
For Square Roots, I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny.
And I'm Rachel Slurs.
Bye, listeners. Bye. Have a fun time.
Bye. I'm Gazzie.
Ooh, that was weird. Ooh, stop that. If I move my Chrome too close to the edge of the screen, my whole screen starts flickering. That's not good. Why do I go through laptops so fast?
Because you put your fucking mega magnet vapes on them.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
You vape into the machinery. All right, 1, 2, clap.
That's bullshit. And my vapes are teeny tiny. Look at how small that is. Look at it. It's tiny.
All your fat clouds were in there.
Remember your vape turned off your laptop like 5 times?
Yes, I do remember that. I remember that putting my vape right here fucks my laptop up, and I've never done it since.